hello everybody, and welcome to the show today. Very happy to have you here. We are on session 27, I do believe. Wow, that's quite a bit. But of course, we're going to be getting into same campaign arc. We're still trying to deal with ultimately the Bellatrix machinations. I got out of the way early there, GOP. And we'll see how that wraps up. But of course, this campaign setting we developed quite well, and it has legs all day. You can do whatever you want here, really. But nevertheless, it is a kind of gray day, but it's been grayish days. We've had a lot of typhoon, it's what they call a hurricane over here, but
Yeah,
they haven't really hit us. They just all seem to be swinging into China. Justice, I guess.
I think so.
Well, I tell
Oh
you
my,
what, the Chinese have been screaming for a couple years now, and every month it seems to get louder. The mandate of heaven, baby.
oh
Uh,
Yep.
yeah.
it's an Eastern
Mm-hmm.
thing, but yeah, no, China is just being beset by natural disasters of all manner and all kind of trouble, and the people are demanding the removal of the CCP quite openly now because it's an old Chinese tradition, the mandate of heaven, just so you
Mhm.
know.
Sure.
They seem to be quite universal in their agreement, though. So we'll see.
Nice.
You love to
That's
see it.
Yeah,
they
well,
couldn't
it couldn't happen to
destroy
a
all of your culture.
nicer group of people.
Mhm.
But nevertheless, I'm going to hear that here and hit that like and share button. Please do the same. Let people know that we are on today,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
we will give a few minutes as usual to for people to show up. There are a
Mhm.
couple that are in motion, so we'll see. And it's been quite a week,
Yeah.
I
Is
have
it
to
just the
say.
rain or
Oh
anything
no,
else
no,
going on?
I'm just talking about the absolute debacle and panic of Hollywood. It's wonderful.
Oh, okay. What have
Mhm.
I missed?
Oh boy.
Wow. Oh wow, really? Well,
I
what you've
mean,
missed is
mhm.
Sean Combs or Puff Daddy or P Diddy or the Diddler um, has
The
been
diddler.
caught out for his ridiculous sex parties, and in that and of itself, I mean, that's not illegal. Adults, consenting adults doing what they want to do, although you might consider it disgusting. But it seems like they drugged a lot of people, did a lot of the what's the term
No.
they're using these days? SA, I think is what they say. Two of these unconscious people, boys and girls, by the way, because it turns out that Sean Combs is quite the what's the proper word? I
Evil
guess
person.
He's
homosexual. Yeah.
I was going to say lubricant baron, but
Yeah, lubricant baron. That's the way to go.
flying
Um,
saucer.
I don't even think I have enough time to cover all of that, Amy. It's
Yeah,
really
really
bad. And
not.
of course, the entirety of the music industry and Hollywood is implicated because you cannot name a Hollywood celebrity that has not been in a room with Sean Combs. You can't name one.
Oh.
Now, of
Yeah.
course, you're going to see a lot of people burn that probably didn't do
Mhm.
nothing wrong at all, just guilt by
Mm.
association. But once again, it is very bad timing because as we stand, the general population is rather, how should we say, displeased with Hollywood and celebrity in general. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, but the rats are fleeing the ship, Amy. Over the
Ooh.
past so many days, everybody's coming out trying to get ahead of this scandal and giving their own opinion, pointing fingers. There's even a few today I noticed they came out and just admitted it to get ahead of it, right?
Mhm.
You know what I
Ooh.
mean, GOP? But
Yeah.
boy, howdy, had no idea there were so many homosexuals in the rap community. I didn't know that. That's actually new to me, GOP, because those guys are always so hard, tough guys.
Yeah.
The black community is the most anti-gay community in America, right?
Mhm.
I
But
don't know.
there's a lot of them. But it seems what Diddy would do, and it sounds like same thing had happened to him, was he would basically drug or these male rappers, new ones coming up, and
Yeah.
do horrible homosexual
Thing.
assaulting things to them, and then of course tape it all,
Oh
therefore
no.
leverage. So
Mhm.
the list of rappers who are probably not gay at all that there are gay tapes on is quite enormous. As a matter of fact, 50 Cent is just having a gay old fun time because he's been saying this for a very long time. And he today came out with a list. Uh-oh.
Ooh.
I like lists.
Yeah. But no,
Oh,
50's having
wow.
a good old time, boy, I tell you what. Because he's been calling, but he and Sean are not friends. He's been calling him out for a long time because Sean did a few things that offended 50 in this regard. And yeah, I guess he's
I mean,
just
besides being blatantly evil?
yeah, no, other than that, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, as Hollywood burns, I will make s'mores.
That's true.
There you
So
go.
will I. Yeah. Uh,
Mm.
but uh, but everybody, I'm kind of there's a few big names that haven't really said anything. Although I think DiCaprio spoke just literally with a
Mm.
few hours ago, because he's wow. There are
He's
photos.
named it. He's named in it.
No, but
He likes
he's
younger,
neck
young,
deep.
young
Yeah.
ladies.
Mm.
He
Even
likes
though
the
he's
young
not a
ladies.
rapper.
Well, it's not just
It's mostly all
rappers.
Hollywood. It's like
Yeah.
everybody out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
It's really bad.
Man.
It's really, really bad. And like I said, I'm different than many of you in here. I don't care what consenting adults do in that regard. I don't. Yeah, if you
Hmm
want to go and have some big old sex party, a whole bunch of you guys together, it's weird, but you do you, I guess. I don't care about
You
that.
do you.
Yeah,
You
well,
do you.
it's
Yeah.
or you do him or her. But the problem
Everybody.
the problem is the drugging and the sexual assault and
And just
Yep.
abuse,
the
straight up abuse and
blackmail
stuff.
and
So.
abuse and
Mhm.
Hmm
potential
Yep.
murder and
They
arson,
could
and the list
find a
is
way to
quite
do
impressive.
it.
You got to give Diddy credit. I mean, he had a bucket list and he pretty much checked everything off on it, I think.
So who married that? That. Oh God.
Nothing.
Hmm?
I'm
Is
sorry. I completely forgot her name.
Jennifer Lopez?
This socialite girl.
That
Well,
does not narrow it down.
that
I
does not
know.
narrow it down.
Paris
There's a lot of girls.
That's
Jennifer's
That's all she's known for.
Oh, the
Paris
Kardashians. Oh,
Hilton.
they're
Yeah.
neck deep
Yeah.
Kardashian.
too.
Okay.
They're
They're neck deep
big
and
time
all of
neck
it, huh?
deep. Oh yeah. Um, and like I said, this is one of those things that everyone in Hollywood supposedly knew about. Now, with Diddy though, in my lifetime, we've seen many stories come out and accusations. Of course, there was a huge accusation against his girlfriend at the time, Jennifer Lopez,
Oh
her
yeah.
sneaking guns into nightclubs and all kind of stuff. And it's interesting. She's one of the ones who's actually being quite quiet. Yeah.
Really?
Well, I mean, there's been a lot of rumors about her and Beyonce as well, but it sounds like Beyonce has taken her children and left the country. So,
Oh.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but
on some level, I suppose if you hang around with such dangerous people, you might not want to be alone without something to defend yourself with.
oh
But it
no,
might be best
that's
to just
not why she's running. Yeah.
no, I
I
guess
think
not.
I think more of the J Lo thing is
Yeah. I don't think so. I think that's a nasty piece of work right there, buddy.
probably,
Yeah.
but
No, but the rumors around Beyonce have been around forever, right?
Mhm.
But some of the stuff that's coming out and accusations, because like I said, rats are fleeing the ship, and they're all pointing
Mhm.
fingers, right? But the accusations against Beyonce are wow and extremely criminal, extremely.
Mm.
There's more harsh rumor about her than Jay-Z, and he's thick as thieves with Diddy. They're like best buds, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, it sounds
Yeah.
like Beyonce is a really, really evil thing. Yeah,
It kind of explains why certain artists keep getting promoted
it
and others
does.
don't, even though they don't have a
Money and the
Uh-huh.
power.
Yeah,
Money and the power.
yeah.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
and
And
the
yeah,
quality of
why
music.
little teeny short black men who really think that they're Eddie Murphy, but really not, have just incredibly popular. So many movies.
Yeah. Wonder why.
Well, there's videos of him
Yeah.
come out.
The
That's the
plants.
thing.
The
Everybody
plant.
seems to have some of these videos, and they're getting leaked. Videos,
Oh.
photo. There's a lot. The past few days has been really entertaining. It's going like only going to get better though. I can't wait. No, it's going to be so good. But then you go back to what Denzel said many years ago, right? Denzel Washington.
Oh yeah.
He was talking to the Hollywood Reporter or ET or some one of those gossip channels, right? And
Right.
Mhm.
they were talking about, Hollywood. I don't think it was specifically Sean Combs. It was just Hollywood parties. But
Mhm.
and of course Denzel said, "Oh, of course I've been to many." I said, "I go early and I leave early." And he said that's
Oh
kind of the
yeah.
important thing with Hollywood parties. Leave early.
What did he say? Leave before the devils come out? I
Something
think
like
it's
that.
something.
Yeah, but he was winking at us. He was winking at us.
Yeah.
But that doesn't
That
surprise me. I mean, Denzel's quite conservative and he speaks out against nonsense all the time.
well, that's good. Well, maybe something will finally come of it. That would be
It would be
great.
nice, although
Yeah, there's
you
probably going to be a
know,
lot of people go down, and a lot of people end up not alive. Is that how they're saying it now?
yeah,
Unaliving
I guess
is
that's
the
the
word
word,
here.
Unaliving?
right?
I don't know.
Right.
It just seems so weird. It just changes like every so often. I'm like, I don't know what people are using.
Well,
Well,
that's
it all
more of a
depends on
YouTube
what
thing.
gets censored.
Yeah,
Yeah, what
YouTube.
gets censored and what doesn't.
Yeah,
I'll be right back,
Um,
guys.
sure.
I've heard that
I mean,
in like online stuff in like China, they kind of get used to calling everything by wrong names because
Mm.
everybody like censors stuff really fast. So
mhm.
like Animal Crossing when it was released was of course outlawed because they don't want people to have nice things. So they
No,
kept
it's
changing the name.
Japanese, is why.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's it. So they kept changing the name of the game in Chinese, so it would take a while before the internet would, shut it down. So
Yeah,
people just got used to what's Animal Crossing called this week?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, China is the most censored internet on Earth, more than North Korea, actually. Oddly enough.
I didn't even
Wow.
know they had internet for their people.
There are some the elite who are allowed to live a little bit of a semblance of life in Pyongyang, do.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's China is really problematic in that regard, and there's all kind of keys and stuff. But then again, China is on the verge of civil war. There
Mm,
are riots and protests every day in the street. You have armies of police. Of course, they're not really police. The army and the police are not really different in China. That are
really?
beating and arresting people, but the people still keep coming out. We actually had
Yeah.
a pretty brutal event here last week because once again, someone went and tried to kill a bunch of Japanese kids and succeeded. And the local Chinese, who are just normal people, brought flowers, and of course, they all got arrested. How dare you mourn a Japanese child? Um,
Mhm.
because you have to understand the Chinese government. It depends on the era, but we're in Mao Zedong Part Two right now with Xi Jinping,
Mm.
because he's desperately wants to be Mao, and he's about as stupid as Mao. So
Yeah.
Who's
it's
that?
good.
Well, it's
Um,
hard to beat Mao in that
it's
regard.
hard. That's a dumb human. Yeah, that's true.
You have to
But
really
what
live for
yeah,
that.
yeah, but if you go look at the elementary schools and their education, they'll have like little field day events or little class skit day event, things like
Mm.
that, right? And of
Statues of
course they
Limitations.
have the kids out there murdering Japanese and standing on their corpses with a Chinese flag and posing. And this is elementary school, by the way.
Mhm.
That's not
So they
okay.
teach them to kill the Japanese, kill the American, of course. But it's kind of like Palestinians
Yeah.
instead of
Oh,
kill a
speaking
Jew. Yeah.
speaking of all that, I mean, have you heard the most important news that came out recently, where Britain is taking a stand and they call for the immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages.
That's
They
right.
want their sausages back.
We want the sausages
What?
back. Keir
And that
Starmer's a
was
moron. He's a moron.
he is horrible,
Yeah.
like
I don't know if
petty
he's as bad
dictator
as
all the
Kamala
way.
though. He's a step up
Well,
from Kamala.
no, I mean the Brits are more extreme because they can afford to be because their population's unarmed. so they can get away with a lot more.
That's true. That's true. Well, there he had another one of his proposals. Well, the late Labor's proposals is
Mhm.
they are, of course, trying to destroy the pub culture in Britain because those horrible, evil white people, and it might
Yeah.
upset the Muslims. You see,
Oh.
you can't. Well, no, in school, for instance, the little story we all grow up with, the Three Little Pigs. You're not allowed to say
Yeah.
this in school anymore because pigs.
That's got to be a joke.
No, it's not.
Seriously?
Yeah.
But the whole point of the story was that they were supposed to not get eaten.
And be
Right.
responsible. But it doesn't matter. You get
Yeah.
Britain is in this state of constantly appeasing the Muslim, and
Yeah.
that's the reason why they're trying to shut down the bars because Muslims don't drink, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Mhm.
no, it's a complete betrayal of the white English people. This has been going on a long time, and of course, Christopher Hitchens said what 20 years ago, it's coming. He said exactly these things are coming, and he was 100% right. But then again, it is Christopher Hitchens. You know,
Well, there's been a lot of predictions going back for a long time
it's
about.
true. And they could see it, and it's happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, Britain's
Maybe.
lost, I would say. Sweden lost. Germany's pushing back, finally. The
Mhm.
French are finally starting to push back. Many of the other European countries are pushing back. And then the Eastern Europeans are saying, I
Yeah.
told
The
you.
polls are like, took you long enough.
Yep.
Yeah, the
Uh-huh.
Romanians are like idiots.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But
They're
the
kind of
fastest growing country on Earth is Romania.
Really, I
really.
Oh
thought
my goodness.
Eastern Europe had pretty bad demographics across the board.
No. Rome. I mean, some of them are, all of them are up, to be honest with you. But
Hmm.
no, Romania is ahead of them all. I don't know exactly why, especially seeing as their government is incredibly corrupt. But then again, it's kind of old school corrupt.
Mm.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But no, the Romanians are just kicking butt, dude. Do you realize that 95% of that population owns a home?
Hmm.
Really?
Yeah,
That's good.
Wow.
that's really good.
Good for them.
Their GDP is way up. Even in the countryside, of course, it's not as fancy as, like, say, Bucharest or something like that. But
Sure.
they're just doing well. And you look at the Bucharest and some of the other big cities, and even small ones, they're just gorgeous. There's no
Yeah.
trash anywhere. Everything is beautiful old world. They've cleaned everything up. A lot of those old world buildings get a lot of rain stain on them over centuries, right?
Oh,
They've
Yeah.
cleaned
wow.
it all up. It's absolutely gorgeous. They have parks you would just be happy to die in. I mean,
They You
damn
can't tell the
Romania.
photos from the paintings.
As opposed to certain Western countries where they have pods.
Yeah, yeah. But no, Romania. My wife and I are going to take a vacation to Bucharest, an actual vacation. I haven't done that in a long time.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm actually going to, instead of work, I'm actually going to Europe for fun. But yeah,
Um,
we're going to go to Bucharest and plan a couple other stops in Romania.
Don't
I
forget to
mean,
stop by your house over there,
I don't have
mhm.
one
your
there,
apartment.
although by the
You,
time I leave, I might.
Yeah,
yeah.
it was nice, right?
Yeah. No, I'm really.
I
She and I are quite excited. We're just impressed with Romania. It's unbelievable. And who knows? I might actually be able to communicate, although they probably all speak English. Let's be fair.
true, but I'm
Yeah.
sure they'll be flattered if you try to speak their language.
Well, I'll have to look into it. It is Roma
Mhm.
Inia, right? Meaning the
Mm.
land of Rome. So shouldn't
Mhm.
be surprised that they're a Latin speaker that no one talks about. And I
Okay,
do the Latin.
there you go.
You know,
Yep.
Okay,
I'll have to
okay,
research a little bit and see how off it is because I've listened to a little bit and I can kind of I got it a
okay.
little bit. So maybe I just have to learn the verbiage, not the
Nice,
verbiage, the vowels maybe, and see how they're
nice.
stretching it and stuff. But nevertheless, I've killed time. I've done that.
Mm-hmm.
20
minutes.
minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm
You're
looking
so good.
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. Well, it's quite amazing, lady. I've been doing this teaching thing long enough that I don't even
Mhm.
need to look at clocks. My inner clock monologue is perfectly 55 minutes.
But do
No.
they take the right notes is the question.
Oh, the Japanese kids, sure. Yeah. It's
Word for word, right?
well, being a teacher. Well, no, I teach them other ways to do that, but being a teacher in Japan is kind of on easy mode. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're
What
extremely
was that?
studious people. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Asians in general are that way.
Mhm.
But anyway, I guess this is what we got. So, alrighty then. Let's see here.
Melissa, is she coming?
Should be. Let me check. I can do some rolls for her if she's stuck on this project. But let me. Oh, we got the stream.
All
Doo-doo-doo.
right.
Usually we end up sharing a microphone anyway. So
All right. Well, I'm just going to go anyway. So here I go. All right. Welcome, of course, to Iron Pass session 27. I think. It's
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
quite
think your
impressive.
counting's messed up.
I don't
No,
think
it's
so.
27.
I've been, I'm pretty good with the math there.
Yep, last was 26. That's on my notes.
Yeah.
So.
But the only, lady, the only reason I'm good with math is because I went through a spat of studying numerology long ago.
Oh.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Yeah. So I mean, of course, I took all the high school maths and stuff and general stuff that we all need. Yeah, go study some numerology. Your math will improve. Yeah.
I was gonna say you were dating a hippie chick at the time. I'm going to assume
No, I'm
you were trying
just
to impress one.
no. Actually,
Oh wow.
every girl I've ever dated in my life thought I was a nerd. So, but
Oh, fair
You
enough.
said you
I
what?
It's
was
okay.
I was the hot nerd though. So, I got to
A hot
pass.
nerd.
I
I
know.
see something different on the map.
Do you?
I
Uh,
think it's different. Yeah, right beside the Iron Pass stables, there's this look a fence in place with 1/4 of the fence missing.
I thought that was always there.
No, that was always there. I haven't made any adjustments to it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Although in the future I'm going to have to. Yeah.
Mhm.
But anyway, of course, Iron Pass is part of the Altarian Empire.
Mhm.
Very old, long in the tooth empire that spans the majority of what we would consider Eurasia, up to the Altai Mountains in our real maps. But It's a big old empire, and it's been generally peace for 1,000 years. Although there's been little things here or there, and they have just entered into their kind of electric age. It's just starting, and they have been under an industrial revolution type of setting for hundreds of years. Although things are slightly different because we throw magic into the mix, right?
Mhm.
Hmm.
Therefore, magic is often more efficient than science in many situations, and they often are combining. However, we over here in the little town of Iron Pass, which is on the eastern frontier, don't quite have that level of technology. There is some stuff, of course. We do have a very accomplished artificer in the town who's making quite a name for herself. It is slightly different over here, of course, and this is in a larger geographic area, the Eastern Pass lands, and of course to the north you have the Thysian Kingdom, which is an high elven kingdom, but it is, it has a large number of various Fey races in it,
Mhm.
and they are on very good terms with the Iron Pass folks. Lizard folk lands are, well, they're just lizard folk. Some of them are on good terms, the rest of them are, cannibalistic. But
Yeah.
it is what it is.
We
Yeah.
do have at least one friend.
What was that?
We do have at least one friend. Red
There are
Feather's very
several,
nice.
actually. If you look
Yeah.
here at Shendal's camp, they have been doing great inroads into befriending the tribes. Like I said, the lizard folk, unlike the wild elf lands or the green elf lands, who are cursed, these lizard folk they're just lizard folk, right? Running from savage barbaric tribes to ones that are a little bit more shamanistic and animistic in their
Mhm.
way. But
Mhm.
anyway, that's where we are, and of course we have Cage Room, which a lot of our story arc has been taking place in, and we'll be going back to today. And beyond this, to the east, about excuse me, equal
Two.
length of this map, of course, the Gordati lands or the Gordati
Mhm.
Empire, which is pretty sizable as well, nowhere near the size of Altaria. But
Beautiful
nevertheless,
city.
that's our thing. Also, we got a couple new photos for you. Of course, we've spoken about Dulpir,
Mhm.
and Dulpir is the nearest Altarian city to the pass, and of course, therefore, Iron Pass. But
Mhm.
the people here in Iron Pass will take horses and wagons or other magical means to get to Dulpir. Dulpir is the last city on the train stop, although there are efforts in place to continue that on to Iron Pass, although those conversations were probably happening anyway.
Mm.
But this city is cosmopolitan, of course, but it is a Tarisian city, and the Tarisians are the orcs in our world, or the majority orcs. And they're much more modern, even though many of them carry the traditions of the old days, and thus the barbarian still exists. Just more of
Right.
a modern. We should, someone, GOP, someone should
Mhm.
make modern barbarian movie.
That would be interesting. Like it's a part
I mean,
of
that isn't that kind of like a lot of action films, like especially going back to like the '90s, and before that, '80s, '90s.
what,
You
like
mean
Rambo?
Tor,
Oh,
Warrior from the
yeah.
Future? Hmm.
Modern. Okay, like, are we talking about a barbarian that was like, is gets transplanted to the modern age, or are we talking about like just someone who behaves like a barbarian in the modern?
Medieval,
Ethereal.
keeping up the tradition type of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It might be
Hmm.
fine. And of course, I do have another thing because we have had one of our party members is from Illarith. And of course, Amy actually took a trip to Illarith, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You went over to the Gordati capital and had
Yeah.
conversations, right? I'm pretty sure that was you.
Lovely
And
Mm-hmm.
people.
this is Illarith. Now, as you can see, the Gordati are much more advanced than everybody else, but then again, it's kind of where they're coming from. And of course, Illarith is named after the original name of the peoples, back way back when they actually built Cade's ruins. But nevertheless, I think that's the new
So
stuff I've
is
added. But that leaves us with our party and their plans. The plans I do believe today are going to involve the Cragmora, but I'll let them tell you about that, make those decisions, of course. But let me get over to we do have a HQ
oh yeah.
we set up
Now,
at Wigwams, I believe. Yeah, there it is.
how old is Illarith? Is it built on top of the cave ruins as well, or is it more modern? Or
Well, everything that you guys, those who pay attention to these things, a lot of what is in this valley and the kind of giant forest beyond where the Gordati exist within um, is built upon or near or amongst the ruins of something far more ancient.
mm.
Even Thizale, the great city of the Thizians, is built on some earlier foundation. So, yes, in this area of the world, there was an ancient culture that was obviously very powerful and very widespread. There's not much knowledge about them, though.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because keep in mind, the Thizians came in almost 1,000 years ago, right?
Right.
And in their early migratory years is when a big chunk of them were lost because keep in mind the green elves are not naturally green elves. They're actually high elves
Oh.
that have been altered because of
Oh.
their, now we know, right? Their
Yeah.
proximity to the Green Mountain, which of course is actually a dragon, a primordial dragon. So
Hmm.
you guys have I think the entire story plot has been laid out, hasn't it?
Yeah. I just
I
like
would.
I
to
think so last time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You've missed parts of it, so it's all very interesting. I going over and making sure I've got understanding of how all the pieces are coming together because it's such a cool story.
It is. It has been a fun story, I'd say.
Ooh.
But yeah. So this land in this area is much older than and of course there's lots of talk. You guys didn't go that direction, but there's ancient ruins all throughout the Lizard Folk land, even though none of them are living even at you know what we'd consider medieval standards.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So there would be things to explore there too.
They would be.
Hmm.
Yeah, but we got 100 levels or 99 levels of Cragmora. We've never explored the bottom,
Well,
and there
not
is like,
Cragmora, but Cage Ruins.
or,
Yeah,
I mean, Cade's Ruins. I mean, sorry, not
it's
Cragmora.
true, and
And
we do know what sits at the bottom layers.
mhm.
Yes.
And we also
Mm.
know where some of the other terminals are and how to wake them up. So we might be
Well,
able to learn more that way.
that's not true.
No?
Hello.
Hey, Puffin.
Whoa.
I'm just dropping in for a little bit. I'm going to Germany tomorrow, so I gotta pack and do other stuff.
What?
I
Oh.
figured you already
Shall
packed by now.
we
I thought you
sing
learned that
what
last
we
time.
Oh, well, I hope it's going to
Well, I
be.
am packed, but
condition my condition was in?
Well,
I
Versus
got
I
other
hope.
stuff
Kenny
I
Burke.
need and want to do.
Yeah. Wow, that's
Yeah.
exciting.
Gotcha.
I hope you have a lot of fun.
You do
But I'm
realize that
excited. I'll be
Germany is
back
on
Sunday.
fire right now, right?
Hmm?
Woohoo! Free marshmallows.
That's true. What part of Germany are you going to?
I think the middle of Germany.
Oh,
We're
okay.
going to we're going to the Loud and Proud Christian Music Festival.
Nice. So you're
Oh.
not going to Berlin then?
No,
Oh, okay. All right, then you'll be fine.
we're going out. We're going in the boonies.
Oh, nice. Yes. I actually have family that lives in Germany.
Oh,
Really?
awesome.
Yeah. My
Have you been to
uncle.
visit?
No, but I would like to go. I've been to Europe so many times, but I'm always working.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this is going to be different though.
It's
Is,
true. I'm not sure how much time I'm going to take because my time is pressed, but it's at least going to be a week in Bucharest. If not, I might try to work it out to be two. Maybe I'll go in August.
mhm.
But because get away from this damn heat. But August there is actually large amounts of national vacation time, so maybe I'll take a couple weeks in August.
Yeah,
But
that sounds.
yeah.
No school during the summer. I
Well,
guess. Is that true in Japan?
my
Uh,
private school, of course, is open outside of holidays, but the university's shut. So yeah,
Okay. Well,
yeah. That's
that's
why
good.
that's the last couple of weeks of, or maybe 3 weeks of August. I don't know, maybe the whole month.
Yeah. You can go check some things out. I hear that Europe's a lot smaller than the US, so you could maybe go to another country and not be out like 3 days of travel.
Oh yeah, no,
Maybe.
it's smaller than the Americas, but it's quite full of stuff.
Mm.
It's
yeah.
very built. But yeah, no, maybe I should because I've never been to visit my family because I do have an uncle in Germany and I have a niece and her military husband are also live in Germany. So yeah,
Cool. Mm. Well, say hi.
yeah,
He's got a very small mustache. It's yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. No, he's a nice kid
Ooh.
actually. She
Oh,
was a
great.
rather troubled child, one of
Oh.
those wild kids, and
Mhm.
he calmed her right down and married her
Aw.
and babied her. So good for him.
Aw, it's
Yeah,
amazing. She found
yeah. No,
someone
he's
that
a pretty
gave her
good
a
kid.
sense of
Yeah,
security. Oh, I'm so happy for her. That's great.
it is good. They're doing
Mhm.
right, very, very well. So it is great. But like I said, I haven't seen my Uncle Jimmy since the early '80s.
Oh, nice. And he's still with us. Yes, you should definitely go say hi. Well, not that I need to plan your vacation for
No,
you, but that would
no.
be cool.
Well,
His
he's a
wife does
retired
have another.
military guy like my father, but he now is a furniture builder.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Well, I don't think there's a place you can do that much better than Germany. I mean, they
Not
are
hard.
the absolute masters of such things.
The Amish are pretty good too.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
but We're not going to take into account that they are German, are we? We're just going to
Yeah,
ignore
we're
that.
not. We're
We're
not.
just
Yeah,
gonna
we're just gonna
pretend
ignore
that.
it.
All right,
We claim them.
that's fine. Well, a lot of those early Protestants, of course, were German,
Mhm.
Lutherans and all.
Yeah.
So,
All people.
let's not force me to get into history class, GOP, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love history.
All right,
That's what
so
we were
let's
here for.
go take a ride over to Cade's rooms.
Well, before we take a ride, we should discuss our plans. It might be a good decision. All right. So here are my thoughts, and I mean, because we really didn't have much time to actually go over things. So if anyone has any competing ideas or anything to add on, please
Yep.
share.
My friends are. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So what we should do first and foremost, since we have contacts, means of getting things from the Gordati, um, we should have our disguises made, and that's something that Honey can do.
Mhm.
But also we should get stuff that would look appropriate as far as Gordati fashions are concerned. You know, to kind of fit our parts, right? So that's all part of that. Uh, anyone who doesn't look like they could fit the usual build of like passing as a normal Gordati should probably take on the role of an undead servant. So
Yeah, I think he was pointing fingers at your sister there.
a little bit.
The small halfling. Oh, excuse me, half elf.
Oh, yeah, the elf. Yeah.
Mhm.
Half elf.
Now, lady, you hear their conversations going on, and you understand the uniqueness of the situation, but you also know that it is highly illegal to impersonate a Gordati or a death speaker.
Y'all
We're kind
do
of.
have a problem with that.
Oh.
If y'all get caught, and I would have to deny that I know you,
Okay.
technically, it's a death sentence.
Well,
It's
I
Is
illegal.
it?
didn't say that, but it is now. There you go, GOP.
Yep, that's canon.
This is
Well,
player
it,
storytelling interaction.
there you go.
And what exactly is the punishment for killing a Death Speaker prince?
Just to think about that one for a second or two, and
It's a slap on the wrist. They have a weird
oh
culture.
well, no, hang on. It's her, it's her, it's her boss is him, and he's part of that council that's looking for the king. So they know, they think he has something to do with it, or they know.
Well, you also have insider information. They kind of all know this, but you know it for sure. The council has made the assessment that the king is no longer alive, and the reason
Well,
for that, and the
excuse
reason,
me, he wasn't alive to begin with.
well,
He was a
meaning
leech.
undead, right,
Right.
unliving. And of course, this was kind of flatly stated by the Baron to them, but there's another reason because the throne itself, no matter where the king is, glows with his unholy light, and that has been extinguished.
Yeah.
This is something
Okay.
that they do not know.
I
Okay.
see.
All right.
And how
Okay.
much does she relate to?
And is the prince supposed to take the position or something else? They're
Well,
trying to do a coup then.
obviously, once full confirmation, and like I said, it kind of has been. Well, once it's made public, there will be a secession of to the throne, of course. And
Oh
Mhm.
my goodness.
the young prince would not be the choice. There would be several other brothers that need dying.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Yeah, he go probably slap on the wrist. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, yeah.
A reward too,
All right. So
Right?
if we actually care about impersonating Gordati, because
Well,
we have to get in the hotel. Oh, what's up?
we should not do anything to offend them. Of course, we won't do such a thing.
We're about to kidnap one of them. So
Yeah,
Thought we were bringing him to justice.
Oh,
that's
same
part
thing.
of. That's the same thing.
We're putting him under arrest.
no, Papa.
Okay, not kidnapping.
That's cop thinking.
Oh yeah, true. I'm gonna have a conversation with him. That's all. As I pull out the sword.
Right. I mean, then again, we
Ready to
don't.
eat? Yeah, feed me.
He's a bargaining chip. He's a very useful bargaining chip to have. I mean, granted, we don't technically need to take him because if we can get him in the room and get him passed out or whatever, then Lady can do her brain scan thing to try and get the information she wants. But I think it's probably better to have him as a bargaining chip against the prince.
Oh, Chester,
Hmm.
did you get that direct message of stuff I wanted to buy and do over the month?
I do believe I did. I thought we
Are
had
you going to
talked
be
about
gone
that
for a month?
earlier.
No, you
Yeah.
hadn't said anything. If I just wanted to
I'll
make
go check
Ted.
it again. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. If you run it, I mean, well, if you give me your list, because I have the best odds of saving money on buying stuff, just
Woohoo,
because my
Oh,
sales.
persuasion.
well, I'm over the break. I did the calculations, and if I spend 12 million, which I have, then I am now the proud owner of an iron golem.
True, but you know, that money in your bank is more effective than you just getting an iron golem.
Hmm.
True, but I forewent like my portion of the group funds to buy things in order for other people to get buffed. So I
Yeah.
had to take it upon myself.
I have no problem with an iron golem being in the bank, but it's very cinematic edition, is what I'm saying. It's
Oh,
not going to
can I?
assist you in game at all. And
Yeah,
I'm just saying that money might be better spent elsewhere. But you can have it if you
could
want. I don't care.
could I have it as an ally? That because it says it follows my commands. It just fights with me.
Well, that's something that needs to be constructed, and of course, the Empire does indeed have those things, and you probably get a little bit of discount on it, but it's something that has to be constructed. It's like everything else
Okay.
you guys are doing. We've started the process, but it's going to take months for these things to come to fruition, right?
Sure.
hmm
And
I would
that's a
just, if
similar
it was
thing.
something I could do, I
Yeah,
could
no,
invest.
I have no problem with it, but just keep in mind it's a cinematic. It's not coming on campaign with you.
Hmm. Okay, I'll think about it, but it would be something to protect my family.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. But yeah, so I don't have any problem with that. Yeah, where were you? Oh yeah, you guys are disguises. That's right.
Ah,
Mm-hmm.
yes. So, do we?
There's other species down there that they can pretend to be too, right?
Yeah, there's
So
every manner of people there. Um. All right. So my understanding is we're headed to the hotel to
Yep.
try and find either the prince or his friend. Is that correct?
It's not what I was
Preferably,
told, but
yeah, preferably we are trying to get Wetton.
yeah,
What?
That
that's
is
what
our
I understood. You guys are going
yeah.
after Wetton. Yeah.
All
If
right.
if all else fails and we completely botch this whole thing, and it's like, okay, well, we're not going to get our hands on him, then maybe we go after the prince if he's there. But that's a if everything goes wrong, because we want to get the information first. We want to find out whatever Wetton knows by probing his
Yeah, that
brain.
might be a good thing to know. What is it we're hoping to find out?
Uh, well, there's a number of things like what exactly. For one, he might know what happened to the emperor, right?
Right.
Because he is the main confidant of the prince,
Right.
and also more details on like what sort of deal was made between the prince and Malatrix. That'd be really useful.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
there's
Why
a
did he?
bunch of questions, and also having him as a bargaining chip means we might be able to provoke the prince into doing things that are uh, rash as well.
Right. Because do keep in mind
Mhm.
that the princess, of course, who is at the Iron Pass, at the keep,
Yeah.
um, she she did give you information, right, Belith here, right?
Mhm.
Because her brother's Wetton is his. I
play
can't think.
toy.
Well, yeah, but Wetton is precious to her brother.
Mhm.
It's not only
Okay.
his number one confidant, he's his best friend, and of course they have a long term relationship. Although
Yeah.
the decadence level of it, and of course it's a bit weird because one thing you guys have noticed is that the non-members of the Gordati government, whether they be undead or not, are very, very decadent and deviant in their manner because they have no responsibility in life, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the government people, whether they're living or not, tend to be very serious and very because they have a responsibility, right? Like Lady's character, she's not dead, right? But the prince is a bit weird because, well, he's government, isn't he? But yet he's clearly a very, very good example of Gordati deviance.
Is he? Hmm. What a strange place this is. And
It
why
is
is he
bizarre.
so abnormal in this?
Probably because
I
they
wonder
got a
if that
bunch
What
was
do
of
you
what
mean
he.
zombies.
abnormal? That's normal.
Well, not for
No,
the
it's
government
not.
body.
You know, in this conversation, lady, you've been working in Illarith for nearly your entire life. You were raised up, found to have psychic abilities. You went to studies, and you're a very serious person. You're not like the other, pre-dead Gordati in the fact that they just party all day and that's their life. That's not what you are. And of course, because of your interactions, you have been around many of the nobles. Which keep in mind, Wetton himself is a noble. He's just not an important one. He's not part of the government, so he can, he lives like normal Gordati. But no, the other princes you have met. Maybe not all of them, but you've met some of them. They are very serious, rather much more like Baron Fedskit.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so we do know that from the past, what we've established is there is a magical barrier up, so we cannot, you know, right? Is there a magical barrier that would prevent? Oh no, actually no. That was a question we had before. If we knew where Wetton was in the building, assuming he's not on those like very top floors,
Well,
right?
you went to his apartments before.
Yeah.
Right. We
Uh,
were just allowed
but
in.
yeah, but my question is, and we would have to know he was there, but there's ways of figuring that out from the outside too. If we knew he was there,
Hmm.
then we could teleport into his room.
No, you
Correct?
could
No.
not.
Okay.
No. That for sure the Hotel Cragmora, which is where the Gordati reside when in Cragmora in general, although some of them do have abodes outside. But it is very, very heavily shielded against many, many kind of things. And of course, this is something that Lady's character has more information on. Um,
Good.
it is not only magically warded, it is psionically warded as well.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Does
So,
magic and psionics work inside of the building only? Like, so if like you're in the building already,
Mhm.
can you operate magical and psionic abilities within the confines of the building?
Well, let's see, lady. Oh,
Of course.
okay. There
oh,
you go.
okay.
Decisions made.
Okay.
I think what the whole thing is, he's referring to the top level that has that barrier.
Oh no, no.
Does
You know that the
magic
whole
and
thing
psychic
is no, 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 no. The whole thing is
Yeah.
protected. It was reduced for you guys because keep in mind they knew who you were. They did
Mhm.
read your mind, and they were trying to occupy you, right? By
Yeah.
sending you on a wild goose chase. I said this long ago that the shielding in the lower part of the hotel were lowered specifically for you.
Yeah.
That is not the case now. We talked about this many sessions ago.
Okay.
But it
I'd
wasn't any
forgotten.
sessions ago.
Well, the way I see it, the only way we are going to get inside of this place is with
Mhm.
disguises. Unless we want to go in guns blazing, which I feel like kind of defeats the purpose of what we're trying to accomplish here.
Yeah,
Then
it is
we're
a
Also
gonna,
done
stealth
that time.
mission. Yeah.
That sounds like a
yeah,
comedy movie, like we're all gonna go in there and we all look so different. We're just gonna fit right in. So would you need
right.
expect our disguises to be.
I'm going to be wearing a really big trench coat, and Lisey is going to be on my shoulders.
Mhm. Yeah, that's
Um,
about right.
I'll
yeah, right.
get my hair from
Polymorph.
white to back to black.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure with her ability with the makeup kit and all that sort of stuff, disguise kit, she can change us all well enough to where we look nothing like ourselves. And I think that's preferable over magical disguises because even if something
They
has
may
like
get
true
dispelled.
seeing,
Yeah.
yeah, it's still gonna work,
Right, right.
you know.
No, it is definitely the safest way. And by the way, lady, just to reiterate,
Mm,
you can move freely. You are not wanted. Matter of fact, you're protected. You are authority.
yeah.
You are a high level, governmental operative.
They're
You have
gonna
no
wonder
problem moving
why in the
around
hell is
whatsoever.
she here. They're gonna wonder why in the hell is she here and who's she
No, they
traveling with.
wouldn't. No, they
They
wouldn't.
won't.
You have been
Okay.
here many times before. You work for Baron Fetskit. You're on his team. You in no way have any trouble moving around Cragmora at all. At all.
I
Okay.
see.
You are not the
Well,
problem. There's only two people here. Well, no, we got more now. Three people here that are had need to be disguised. Danny's character, there's no reason whatsoever. All they know of her, they know her. She's certainly been because keep in mind the desk speakers do account for everything. You know this, but
Mhm.
they know who Danny's character is, and she's been quite successful doing the ruins runs. They know
that's
who she
true.
is, but she's not. There's nothing illegal about her or anything like that. She's fine. It's just GOP, Puffin, and Amy and Honey. Those are the ones that and Bill. Hi, Bill.
And Bill,
Hey,
Well
What
then,
about Bill's wifey?
she
oh,
probably is on the
she's
blacklist too now.
Yeah.
She is. Of
yeah,
course, Bill is probably the most wanted.
now I thought our
well, I'm always
reputation
that.
went. Oop,
Go ahead.
Sorry,
Bill.
is my headset okay? Do you guys
Oh,
can
Bill.
hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Hmm.
you're in a
Okay.
bucket, but yeah.
Am I okay? I may make adjustments. I am in a bucket. It's true. So, but I'm in a bucket with a view. So what I see
Mhm,
is
mhm.
with the disguise kit, there's
Mhm.
fallibilities are it goes awry somehow, but that's probably minor. I don't know if polymorph is that a thing in 5e. I can't remember
It
because that
is,
would
but it.
that change. What's that? Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm saying it is a thing. But there are easier ways if you're trying to change your appearance. Than polymorph to do it because polymorph is usually more for like if you're trying to change into animals or something, like into a different type of creature.
Right.
You
Although
know.
it can be
Okay.
used in that regard, it can be.
Yeah.
It just requires an arcane skill, but a
And,
roll as well. But
and then the question on that is,
yeah,
once that's done, is that not? It does not. I mean, you're physically changed. You're not
it is
magically.
permanent. Yes.
Uh,
Uh,
yeah. So it's
true
not.
polymorph
And then
is
you.
regular polymorph is like a concentration up to an hour.
Yeah, but I
Okay.
think
So one would
they
be discoverable by like a true seeing. One would not. But we don't
right, but
necessarily know that
GOP's
Yeah.
that's true.
point is extremely valid in this case, and Lady can confirm a well done design disguise, which just requires a roll, of course, would be much more highly preferable to any kind of magic because the hotel is warded and guarded against such things. She knows that on every floor there is an arcane eye that is watching everything all the time. She doesn't know
Awesome.
where the information is going to, but she would assume it's probably going to the prince, right? And keep in mind the top of the hotel, the penthouses areas are his private domain. And she doesn't, like I said, the arcane eye and the collective system, because they are high science, right?
Mm.
Is going somewhere, right?
Yeah.
She would make an assumption the prince it's going to the prince somehow. But yeah, no, the disguise way is definitely the way to go. Ladies character things.
Um,
See, I'm
couple
so
of
smart.
You are.
a couple of questions though. They're psionists. Aren't they going to be able to tell from your mind who you are?
If
Problem.
Yeah.
Well, they can't.
What?
They can't tell my mind.
Well, the
No
issue
one
would,
can.
I mean, but usually they have to probe,
That's true.
right?
That's true.
So, I mean, if we are, if we're coming off as guests, like, because when we went in there before, were they just randomly probing people's minds? I thought that was a
Yep.
special thing.
Oh no, they were randomly doing that. They're also intentionally doing that. Um, to be fair, lady, your opinion disagrees with their plan, right? They want to. The princess had mentioned underground tunneling, which the Gordati used to move themselves around the city, kind of quietly, right? You know
Mhm.
of this, and you don't know a detail though. The princess certainly knows it because, well, she's a naughty girl, right?
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
But your character's opinion, lady, is it would probably be better that you guys disguising is good, but you being an entourage coming from somewhere for something would probably be far less noticeable and therefore molested than you guys trying to sneak in, because an unknown face is going to be, even though it's a disguise, an unknown face will be automatically marked and logged,
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
right?
I was thinking an entourage, but I mean, if she's in the clear, then fine, we could be her entourage. I was gonna say I could, pretend to be somebody else, but no, I mean, an entourage was kind of part of the plan, but I do think Lady being the head would be not a bad idea.
Well, yeah, because she has free. There's very little few places she can't go to, for sure.
Just to run a couple things I know that we had talked about, but
Hmm.
I'm not sure what you guys have. I'm being late and everything. I'm not sure what you covered. We had
No, we
talked
did.
about doing the long game of acquiring someone, working there, gaining access to areas, moving pieces that way, sneaking in, and I guess that all the early warning systems, whatever, have made that one
Well, I mean,
unrealistic or a
well,
failed
no.
attempt.
I get your point, Bill, and um,
Yeah,
you could do that, and you could get it set up to where the person knows how they know because of that setup, how to move around the arcane eyes without being logged and things like that. You could do that. That's months, though.
Yeah, and I feel
yeah,
like
that's this is the time, huh?
we don't really have the time
Yeah.
now after the attack on our town, and considering the extra notoriety and stuff. I feel like getting this done sooner makes a lot more sense. Not give them any
You're
time
right.
to prepare another attack on us, like, realistically,
What
right?
about another thought then was that we talked about was using the resources we have, not of just Cragmora, but of the whole entire delve, the water, the power, the light,
That's
and
right. You do have
creating
that as well.
Mm-hmm.
some kind of natural disaster sort of phenomenon to create a way for us to have take advantage of the chaos.
Yeah.
That is certainly
Um,
part of it. I do think, like,
ooh, what about we use that to get the sneak in the entourage, not necessarily so that the attention of the entourage there's not so much attention on it, still going the entourage game, right? But then we have a partnership or part of our group can affect a blackout, a flood, or whatever. So that way, the entourage coming in, it's not subvert, but it just lacks scrutiny because resources are used to deal with
Well,
chaos.
there
well,
are
yeah.
two
A
things that
distraction.
right. There's two things I would say to that to go into your thinking, your process, decision process. One, the Baron and his team have done a pretty good job actually of hyping you up, and you guys, your names are known throughout Cragmora, but in a good way. Keep in mind, your
Mhm.
renown has grown there. People know who you are, and they're the amazing defeaters of the dragon and the healers of the town, and all that kind of stuff is known here. The Baron has done a good job with that. You know this because your renown has increased in Cragmora, right?
Right.
That's one. Two, do not forget Jason. He
No,
cannot teleport you into the hotel, but he could put you at the front door. You don't need to walk through Cragmora at all.
that's true.
Well, that was the whole point of going through the the basement anyways, was so
Right,
we
and
can.
if you were trying to sneak in, that's the way to go. But if you're going to come in an entourage, just literally be at the front door.
Yeah,
Right.
that's a good point.
Wouldn't that be suspicious too? I mean, that's pretty.
Well,
Only if people notice
Boom.
it.
yeah, but it's also keep in mind your lady is a representative of Baron Fedskit.
Yes. Is he
Eh,
in good standing with the
Yeah, that's a good
Crown?
question
Of
because
course he is, and the prince
Okay.
wouldn't even dare, right?
Oh, good.
Although there are, you got to keep in mind, the prince is going to have a cohort in this city that are absolutely undyingly, and that's not a pun, loyal to him, of course. But the prince does not have that level of control of the entirety of Cragmora.
Mm.
In general, I've said this before, the people in Cragmora are very pro Death Speaker
Mhm.
because the Death Speakers let them be rich and they allow that to go on. They tax, but they don't overly do so, right?
Tax, like
So
1.3%.
well, yeah, but the Death Speakers have good standing in Cragmore against all these adventurers, with all these adventurers.
yeah,
But the prince himself is not necessarily specifically beloved, right?
Mm.
And Baron Fedskit is, and I have his picture right here. We haven't seen him in a while. He is extremely high level. The people of Cragmore don't necessarily know the difference. He's just another death speaker, right? But
hmm
amongst the Gordati, he is. This is one of your highest level people in society. This is emperor boss level guy. I mean, he's not an emperor, but he's on the council, right?
Right.
So obviously, the people that are rabidly loyal to the prince are consider him enemy, obviously. But
Mm.
all
yeah.
the other ones, whether they like it or not, have to show the respect to the Baron because freaking Baron Fetskit, dude. It's like you know, he's a Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, it
That was probably a
seems
bad
that
example.
Yeah, bad example, but it worked at a
I think they're,
time.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think,
gonna go with
Well, the
Georgian. I'm
first
gonna go
part's
with
right.
I think they're a
Georgian.
little bit older.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So okay. I mean, that's not a bad in. I mean, I'm all down for that idea.
You can do
Um,
whatever you want. I'm just trying to make sure you understand all the details. I'm
yeah,
speaking for Lady. Sorry,
Thank
Lady.
you.
Yeah,
By the way,
yeah.
no, you're doing a beautiful job.
yeah.
Mhm.
My
But then again,
voice is
she
just
doesn't.
a little
Yeah, she might not
deeper.
know all the information that you know about the society and stuff. So that makes
No,
sense.
and
Like,
I'm leaving that out. Keep that in mind. I can
yeah,
multitask. Not as well as a lady though.
yeah.
My
So
curse of being male.
we go. All right. So we go in the front door as part of
Ding dong.
My
yeah,
entourage.
part of your
We're there
entourage.
to do what, though?
So
Um,
here's that's the main
That's
question.
yeah.
Getting
Getting room
getting
for me and my entourage.
well that I mean and we gotta get we have got to get Wetton into a room
do
where
we?
we can get access to him and potentially take him. So there are some ways once we actually can get him into a room that we can handle this problem. Um,
If hmm, sorry.
well, what were you gonna say?
Well, I think the main issue we're having here is that the prince is in league with an attack against Iron Pass of that kingdom, and that the Baron and the Godati are not very happy about him basically bringing fire down from a kingdom they're hoping to have friendly relationships with. Would the direct approach be best in this case?
He's this hotel is under the control of the prince,
It
and
is.
he's an ally of the prince, and so I think that would be counterproductive for what we're trying to accomplish.
Although, to answer
Mm,
Amy's query, the Gordati are extremely litigious.
Lit-
Therefore, it might well be generally assumed that the prince in some way had something to do with the dragon attacking Iron Pass, you would need evidence.
Mhm.
Really?
Of course.
And how can we get evidence? Perhaps via a particular confidant of the prince.
Someone who
Well,
might
we
know.
used to use the word fop. What's the word today, I wonder?
No idea.
We'll think of something.
Andy,
A dandy. Well, that's about 100 years out of date, but we'll go with that. Sure.
retard.
So then we're
Retard.
You
We're
can't say that. Though, can you?
specifically
Yeah.
looking for now. There was a
A
letter.
Cortesian.
Never go full retard.
Never.
Oh, wow,
never
we're gonna
go
get
retard. That's right.
this stream's gonna get taken down. Good job,
Oh,
everybody.
well, what's
The
new?
princess pet.
Yeah.
The princess pet mongoloid. Is that okay?
Oh my!
I just got one of my old TFT videos taken down. All my old stuff is getting taken down.
Mm,
That's because you got 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
What?
Right.
Did he that?
the YouTube gods giveth and they taketh away.
They do. They do. They actually removed one of
start
my
using
TFTs,
Rumble.
which I don't even remember what it was directly about, but they removed it for medical misinformation.
Mm,
Was it retarded?
No, I was
Yeah.
just doing me, dude. So yeah, it was retarded. Yeah.
yeah.
Yay.
Hey, full. Okay, so
Yeah.
I
we
know-
want Wetton. He's going to be evidence. That's why we need him. He's a witness that we
Yeah, it's a
need
good plan.
to.
Yeah.
Call
Well,
the
now we have
difference
something
out.
specific that we're looking for.
I'm going to put
that's
some
that's
hot
good.
water on. So you guys, whilst I do that,
You're
please make a decision. So when I come back, I can do something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Let's just say
Number one, we
entourage.
arrive. Your entourage. We go in and check in.
Entourage.
Yeah,
Why
the
are we
usual
there?
stuff.
But why are we there?
That I have no idea. That would be
And
like you're visiting the city for some reason. I don't know. Maybe you're researching the ruins. You are a researcher. That
Okay.
is your thing, right?
Brought
So-
additional assistance.
Yeah.
Is there any protection you can offer your entourage from their mind scannings that happen at random?
Probably
Not.
not, but
I mean,
How
um,
long would it take to make a whose was it mind shield gadget?
Ring of Mind Shielding.
Well, we could only get like 3 or 4 of them, right?
where's the ring of mind shielding? Let me look that up.
They're rare. But then again, if we're wearing rings of mind shielding and they try and read our minds and they can't read our minds, that's going to be suspicious too.
Yeah.
But it's not the same as reading their minds. Oh, these guys are here to infiltrate. What if we had
Everybody in a bag
mnemonic?
of holding.
There-
What if Lady mind wipes us?
Uh,
Why would
then
she do that?
what would we do?
Permanently or
It can't be done.
just
I don't
things
have
we
the skill.
We shouldn't
I do.
remember.
I do not have that skill.
It's the classic X-Men move where you take the memories out of their head. That way they can't read the memories, and then you put the memories back when they need to have.
The Baron might be able to, but not me.
yeah, I don't think we have that capacity. At least, maybe one of her things that she doesn't have access to might have it, but she might be able to get it at some point. Maybe I have to look through her abilities, but I don't know about that.
Okay,
But,
moving on then.
yeah, we need to. Okay, when we get in, assuming we get in,
Mhm.
how do we get Wetton into a room with us, where we can have him to ourselves? And
I can invite him to dinner.
Well, that's
okay,
a
but why would
possibility.
you invite him to dinner?
You need to talk about some issues that you're having with an incident.
What if the heroes of Iron Path want to speak with him?
That is a
Yeah.
horrible.
Horrible
Oh.
idea.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
really bad. That would end up.
What if we do
opposite.
something taboo and we're coming with slave traders?
But if the entire
I
place
wouldn't
can
come
read your
in.
mind, then you can't actually put up a farce.
Yeah,
That'd
but
be for me.
that we
Okay,
have
what if we're
to.
serious about selling Puffin into slavery to Wetton?
Yep. Just bring them in like
I
we
mean,
got
I
some
could just
for you.
stab him with a razor and devour
Okay.
his soul.
I am part of the entourage, but I'm also going. I can also pretend because we've already established that some of the the serious people can also be very foppish in their own way as well. So,
You want to swing both ways to try and infiltrate?
oh, my character, I'd have to come up with like someone who's
He's
legitimate, but I could probably trick him into joining us in our room.
I'm going to assume perhaps that the Baron could go through this place without having his mind scanned and sent off to whoever's in the room reading those documents.
Yeah, but
Maybe
true, but
we
then that
should
implicates
ask
him.
Yeah, but maybe we
And-
should ask him how or why, or what kind of protections can be afforded. Are there protections which would reasonably be associated with people who are part of an entourage for a government official?
That's a good question and something to ask Chester when he comes back, I think.
Absolutely.
Okay,
But-
so we have to make a decision. So we're going
Yes.
to go. We're doing the entourage thing. I want to do something sneaky. I'm going to drink a
Well-
potion of immunization, and I'm going to sneak inside someone's pocket.
How small can that make you?
I think it's like as big as a mouse.
Aw,
Really? Okay.
that's cool.
just crush him in your hand. Oh, my bad.
Keep him on your
Still
shoulder
as
like a
strong
little
as
pet.
always. Just little.
Yeah.
Like Ray Palmer.
What rarity is that potion?
I thought we had one. We have one.
I suppose if there were some way to cause a
You
malfunction in the
do?
security system, that would be an alternative.
I could be totally wrong about how.
We sold a lot of our stuff to like get money for items in the past.
Okay.
But I don't think we had one that specifically did that. I know we might have had like a large reduce. Yeah, a growth thing.
Okay. Yeah, I burned that one already, so never mind. That's fine.
All right. So for
I wanna
Wetton,
shrink them.
okay. So what if you and I try and because we know he swings both ways, right? We're in the party. Also, I had another idea. We could get a wine, like an expensive wine from the capital, as
From
like an
the
inn.
Elvish capital.
Well, no, from the Gordati capital. Something that's really hard to get out in Cragmora. And we'd be like, we have this bottle, and we hear you like to party, wink, wink. And like, we totally swing both ways, wink, wink. And we try and get him into the room to share the the nice bottle of wine with us, right?
So I was just joking about the sexual part, but if you really want to go that way, I guess we can.
We don't actually have to do anything. We just got to get him in the room.
Okay. Yeah, that's a vice of his, that's for sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
I suppose if he's having a party, you could see about being invited.
Well, we want to get him alone. We want to get him away from everyone else. Like, if he comes in with us, okay, well, we're all on the same page here. But if he's got a bunch of other people around him, there are, odds that somebody could get out. We want to get him. We want to tie him up and, bind and gag him. Probably knock him out first, and then find a way to get him out of the hotel. Or if we can't get him out of the hotel, at least while he is bound and gagged, have our Gordati in the party, have Lady's character probe his mind and get all relevant information.
I think we
Mhm.
got to take him with us.
We might not have
We gotta
to.
have-
We can slip him out through the
You gotta have what,
Underground.
Bill?
Can I?
I'm sorry.
Can I know what's going on?
Yes.
Yeah,
No.
as soon as you figure it out.
Fair enough.
Well, I was thinking perhaps we could ask the Baron. It seems like government officials should probably be able to go to the hotel and not have all of their thoughts read and sent to an undisclosed room somewhere without their knowing or their consent. If that's the case, is there some kind of protection towards that which might reasonably be extended towards a government official and her entourage?
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
Normally, that might be the case for some official with a licensed official like Tavera, but it's highly unlikely that the prince gives a shit.
So he would be well. Okay.
We mean like items specifically. We're not talking about him caring about like probing people's minds. We're talking about are there actual things that we could get to keep our minds secure, where it's not going to raise, red flags.
Those items do exist, but you're not allowed. Yeah, you're not
Okay,
allowed.
Okay.
so
That's
there.
just she doesn't have that push, and that would be troublesome.
We're not.
So
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not.
yeah, no,
It's not. We're not getting the free
yeah.
gimme. On
Now
that.
they're not going to get anything out of her anyway, assuming they automatically read her mind anyway. That's not necessarily going to happen anyway. But just understand that the prince is a cornered dog, right?
Yeah.
So don't assume that he's going to follow the law. Might I make a suggestion?
Absolutely. I was going to ask
Yes.
anyway, so.
Shamara Skull
Mhm.
Ripper. Danny,
Yes.
hi.
Yes.
Why don't you go to Cragmora and have a look? I mean,
Okay.
you can walk around freely. You've been doing it for months. There's no problem with you moving around that. You know the town probably better than they do by now,
Mm,
actually. As far as
you're
the
right,
ins and
buddy.
outs and the best places to get the roast pork, which is an essential and important piece of information. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, why don't you just go take a look and see
Yeah.
All right.
what's the deal? Because right now, everybody here has been many months removed from Cragmora, right?
Yeah.
So you don't know
Mm,
what's going on there. And Shamara, I mean, uh, uh, Tavera can do it too, but it's good. Definitely, she's going to be noticed. She is,
Right.
kind of like a department head type of
Mm,
person, right? So she's going to be
Yeah.
recognized. But Shamara is just some random adventurer. There's no, she's not going to raise any alarms whatsoever.
So we're
True.
sending our secret double agent. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it kind of works out that Danny wasn't here for a while because
Yeah.
she and Rabbit's character and some of the other characters, they were just adventuring, making money, right?
I thought
mm.
Rabbit was trying to catch a fish for a
He
long.
was. He was.
It was a
He's
magic
still
place
after
to
his
give me a
white
wish.
whale.
It haunts him.
Okay, no,
Horatio. Anyway, sorry.
and while she's doing that, we can figure out the rest of our plan too, because I mean that would inform us more. I mean, I knew that there was a spy involved because we did hear that there was somebody in the hotel, right? What was it? The Baron, my Baron. He was because when we talked with them, they said there was a spy in the hotel who was giving out
Your
information.
father.
Yeah.
Apparently, we were made the second we walked into the city. So yeah, sending Shamar might be a good idea.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I mean, it would be splitting the party, which is
Oh.
never the best thing. But you know what? They don't know who she is, so I mean, it's a gamble probably worth taking. So
Yeah,
Oh.
well,
Well,
she's been doing
think me
it
down.
for quite a while.
yeah,
Mhm.
true,
Yeah.
true.
I want to
And
go sneak in there in her pocket. We're gonna make that work.
No,
I wonder.
definitely not. I don't want you in anybody's pocket. That's no.
Okay, let's get the show on the
Player
road.
agency.
Okay,
let's go.
We
Danny.
always get her out if things work
Mhm.
out, right?
Jason, and you're getting these guys are used to it. You're getting used to it. This guy who is like the spy master of Cragmora, he has the ability to kind of teleport you wherever he wants. Quite convenient. So, you figure the best place for you to show up inside of Cragmora is the place you spent most of your time, and that, of course, is at the gate. And the gate is going into the ruins, and basically you have to pay a certain amount of money to pass through the gate. Is one of the ways town makes cash directly, and of
Mm.
course you get to keep whatever you come out with, right?
Okay.
Although you've heard rumors of people finding exceptionally interesting things and thus things being confiscated, but you've never had that to you. And in front of the gate, there's like a whole like little mini town inside the town. There are bars and outfitters and all kind of stuff in this right here where the event. So a lot of adventurers spend a lot of their time at the gate, right? Because that's why they're here.
Mhm.
So you get dropped in there, and you've spent a lot of time here yourself because you have been going into the ruins, and making money. So
Mhm.
you're sitting at the gate, in front of the gate. It's a big, gigantic thing. It's the old Illarith design, right? And of course, this place is bustling as normal. You got adventurers getting ready to go in, coming out, just hang. There's a lot of people just kind of hang around, you know.
Mhm.
And you've been here many, many times, and it all looks quite normal in this space. It's as it always looks. So your idea here is to move around town, see how things are, and gather information. So, what kind of information does Shamara wish to glean?
Or our whole objective, right, is to find out where, like, how to get into this place or draw this guy out, right? So I'm
That's
not
true.
positive. Should I be going like, I would think like maybe like somewhere would be a lot of people like bars. I could pretend like I'm coming to look around for like maybe fight or recruiters or something for, like to hire someone or stuff like that. So that'd be like my reasoning maybe to be there. But really, we want to take a look, like I'm gonna look around to report back to anybody if we can find anyone that would know about wedding or where to go or how to get, basically where maybe he would leave that hotel or leave that place. Maybe he has something like on his agenda so we could get him actually out of that place instead of being
Yeah.
in there where they could read our minds. I don't know.
Right. And of course, you could go about gathering information. I don't know how good your character is at this, but you could also
Um,
just kind of go on the highfalutin streak because you do have money in the town.
mhm.
The Deaf Speakers Network. They know you've made money,
Is there any
right?
little town snitches?
Well, I'm just
The
saying
right
that on
price?
that main rich people road leads up
Right.
to the hotel, right? So
Mhm.
and the authority who are always paying attention to stuff, they know you have money, so it wouldn't be weird for you to be there. And
Mm.
that would be a very direct way to see.
Also, if I can just recall something, Wetton had placed a lot of bounties and apparently was in the habit of doing so when we went to go talk to the at the police station there. They seemed almost to think it was tiresome how often he was looking for that kind of thing. So that might be an angle.
Hmm.
And it also wouldn't hurt to see what the current. How, we have an idea from Lady's character with the prince's popularity, but we don't really have knowledge of what the current state of affairs is for how
Right.
if people that kind of thing. So uh, bar hopping and snooping that way wouldn't be a bad idea too, especially in the
Oh, sure.
highfalutin area, getting
Right.
the card games also.
Now,
Mhm.
mechanically, I gave Danny's character an equal amount of renown to everybody else, just
Mhm.
because, mechanically. But her renown would be applied to her success in the ruin, right? So she
Mhm.
is a known quantity. Therefore, there are many people around here who know of the great Shamara Skull Ripper, right?
Nice.
But hers is applying that way. It's not applying as they defeated, which the people don't know it's a machination of the prince and his cohort anyway. But
Right.
she's more attached to that side than the other, is what I mean.
Mhm.
Right. They know her as one of theirs.
Yeah, she kind of like Dandelion was in her early years.
Hmm.
Anyway, Danny, whatever you like, you tell me what you're doing, and I shall describe it.
I was thinking, doing the bar hop, if they have a drink, getting to like talk to a few people and see what maybe I hear around,
Sure,
people are talking about.
that is
And then kind of
very
pick up from there before I even make a direct, approach. Maybe
mhm,
do like a little observing and hear what other people are saying.
sure, very classic D&D. Uh,
Grind
uh,
in the rumor mill.
Oh,
Hmm.
absolutely. So you go into, and there's a lot of bars around here, of course, at the gate. Like I said, this is like a mini town inside the town because it's where all the action's really taking place for the adventurers. And there are many little bars, and some of them are literally like a little kiosk, outside kiosk, to some really big ones. The big one that you probably have spent a lot of time in yourself is called the Clawmora. And it's supposed to be some joke about some supposed dragon that was defeated in the ruins long ago. And there's a
Not bad.
giant
It's a good
claw
one.
over the entrance. So who knows? Nevertheless, you go in. This place is quite large. It's nearly the size of Wonderland.
Wow.
which is Wonderland's quite big, right? And it doesn't matter the time of day; it's always packed. And as you come in here, there are lots of people talking and drinking and eating because it is kind of the general way things work around here. They're combined businesses, and of course, there's working girls moving around the bar doing their thing, as or the tavern doing their thing as well, which is far more. Wonderland is a very isolated thing, whereas in Cragmora, that's kind of everywhere. But nevertheless, it seems like a normal day. You go in. Do you go to the bar? Do you take a seat? Do you just mill around? What are you doing?
I think I'd sit at the bar and
Okay,
kind of somewhere kind of in the middle where I can like listen to what's going on around me, maybe even kind of lean in, ask the bartender a few things if I need to, but just
sure.
kind of listen. Say, and then if I want to take a walk around and mingle a little bit, just walk around. But I would say I'd start at the bar.
Okay. So you're sitting at the bar and you're having a listen. One of the bartenders comes up to you, Jack. You've spoken to Jack before, and he comes and says, "Ah, Shamara, it's been a while. You have your usual."
Yes, sure. That would be some hard straight up whiskey,
Oh, really?
something you
So
got
just
there.
alcohol, no food. So yeah, no problem. He goes and takes the thing you're kind of deferential to dwarven whiskey. You know how those Scottish
Okay.
people are. And pours it out for you and just leaves the bottle, as normal. And
Yeah.
so and of course he'll run the tab for whenever you leave. Once again, renown, right? And you're just listening, and the people directly around you are talking about just their plan, or some other person. There's some rumor of a new cache that has been found in the ruins, and there's a table behind that are clearly green as hell, all excited about their first delve, and all these kind of little things. But give me I guess it would be a perception check, or I guess
Okay.
notice check, or I don't know. They've reduced the
So which one is
skills.
that one?
Perception.
Which one would I
Uh,
roll
Investigate.
for that?
it might be investigation. Might make more. Well, perception or
Investigation,
investigation probably
investigation.
would
Yeah, you're right. They
either
just
or.
removed so many skills from fifth edition, but
Yeah.
yeah, investigation's fine. That kind of is a coverall, I guess.
All right, which one am I rolling then? Hold on.
Investigation.
Yeah, which one's that? Is that the
That's
D
under
what?
It's all
intelligence.
sorry. It's
Oh
always a
man,
D20. This game,
that's what I
anytime you're
figured. You
making
always start
rolls,
with
is a
that.
D20. Yeah.
All right, and then let me see. Do I have like a plus on in that? Let's see.
This is called the D20 system, just so you know.
Yeah. I don't think I have anything on that, so I think it's just a roll.
Do you have any modifier to your intelligence?
So you just
Oh
add your
no, I don't think
intelligence
so.
to it. Yeah. What is your
Intelligence. I
intelligence?
think it's a. Is it plus? Is that right? This is from way back though. I got a +3, I think, but that doesn't
Oh,
sound
look.
right. That's way
Probably
back.
not your intelligence. Okay, let me go pull it up.
I'm looking. I'm looking.
It's a no. You got it's just a straight roll. You
Straight
don't
roll.
got any.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, 13 is not a failure. It's not good, but it's not a failure. You do hear a couple of people from where you are at the bar are talking about the upcoming festival, and they are speaking in fairly low tones, which is why you made your roll. And they're talking about the upcoming festival and how the Jackass Prince is supposed to make an appearance. And they do
Mhm.
use this kind of language for him, which is interesting to you because when you were here before, you just didn't hear the prince mentioned at all.
Ooh.
But now the prince has been mentioned because he's going to make a public appearance, and it's in a negative. So you would assume that Baron Fetskit and his network have been having success in their propaganda campaign. That's
Mhm.
all you can get without milling around or going talking to people specifically.
Mhm.
So, what do you do?
Well, I was thinking, can I approach those people that called him a jackass and see like what they're talking about?
Sure.
All right. So then what do I have to do with that one?
Well,
Go up to
go
them
up
and see
and
if they'll
say
give me any
hi.
info.
Interact with people.
Hello.
I heard you
All
talking
right.
about a party, handsome. Where's the party at?
Uh-oh.
I
I don't know that would
heard
be
there's some. Oh,
Shamara Skull Ripper's approach.
no.
But that's
Where
fine.
is
Yes.
he?
Just an idea, just to get
You
the
just
Tell
go
me
up,
more about
you.
this festival and this jackass prince you speak of,
They when
and
you
make it
say
almost
that,
like a
they
ha-ha.
instantly look at you and they do with their hands, the downward motion. Keep it down. What are you on about? Sit down, God. You can't
All right,
talk
I'll
about
go
the
sit
Prince
down
open
with you.
like that. You're gonna get us in trouble.
How about I buy them a round of drinks and let me sit with them?
Yeah, they said sit down, and you
Some
could
chit
certainly
chat.
buy a round of drinks as you shout
Of
to
course.
Jack.
Yeah, you should if I'm going to sit down
Well,
and
you
be
do
like
have a
chatting and
bottle.
be
You
like,
could
yeah,
just
you
pour. I mean,
oh, that's mine. I'll get them around whatever they're drinking.
Alrighty then.
I'll
All right. Alrighty then.
get them around to whatever they're drinking.
And then go ahead.
This is where I'm not the greatest at, but all right. What is this upcoming festival you speak of? And this jackass prince. Why are we talking like that? Tell me more.
They said that the upcoming festival is a lunar festival. Keep in mind down here there is a sun moon cycle, artificial. Of course, you guys know a lot about it, but they don't know as much. That do go over, but the moon festival is a one night a year that the moon glows twice as big and twice as bright, making it
Well,
like
there will be.
midday.
So who will be all there? Like any? Will they all be there? Will everyone? Will his right hand man? Like, is it like where everyone comes out to this and sees this?
It is pretty much the
Like,
entire
they'll come
town.
out.
And
Is this
it's
happening with it soon?
well, it is happening soon. It's less about 5 days away, and it is it is similar to a Saturnalia in with these people, meaning that it's a big party, and a lot of the rich and wealthy people will put up, set up tables and stuff outside in the streets. There's lots of free food, free
Right. So they'll have
alcohol.
a separate section where all these people are that we could then possibly get to this person that we want to
Well, it's all over town.
talk to.
It's everywhere that
Mhm.
this is taking place, and every
Right, but if
rich.
they're higher up people, they're not just be walking freely. They'll have people around them or
Well,
something like
of
that. They
course they're
would
going to have an
probably.
entourage, obviously. But
Mhm.
anybody who has any wealth or money will try to will try to set up a sitting area and free food, free drinks. They tend to buy out all the rich people tend to buy out all the prostitutes of Cragmora, and they're free for the day. It's very
Can we do something
Saturnalia,
like that
like
with
the
our entourage to fit in? Like if I were
Sure,
to
I
say
think
I
you
was
should
helping
pimp
get
out
that.
GOP as much as you'd like. Yeah.
What? Wait, what's going on?
I got something for you. I got something for you.
Yeah.
Got some
But
work
Uh,
for you to do there, Skippy.
of course, finding out or knowing exactly where the prince is going to be or speak would probably be impossible amongst the population. But of course, the prince always comes out and speaks at the Moon Festival. But it's just a big party that happens once a year, and it's supposed to be where the rich give back to the citizenry. But of course, and it is that. But it's mainly a opportunity for rich to show their ass and show how rich they are. Really, like I said, if you've ever studied Saturnalia in Rome, you would. It's that, right?
Hmm.
More so.
Making just a note.
Okay.
All right. So it's just
And
basically
as
the
far
rich
as
to show off.
the jackass question, and
Mm-hmm.
they answer. One of them answers really low tone, very very quiet at the table, even leaning in, saying, "Well, haven't you heard the rumors?
Oh, what rumors are these?
Rumors
Do
have it.
tell.
Well, the prince is talking about raising taxes." I mean, it's ridiculous. The guy looks, they shakes his head, and also there's rumors that I don't judge, of course, but that the prince is a little bit of a buggerer.
Mm.
Uh,
Prince is gay.
Not that
I'm
they
making
do.
notes. I'm making notes.
Hey, you don't
Not
get
that they
to
did.
you don't get to use that term very often now. Come on.
You really
Burger.
We'll just say getting around.
he's a fudge packer.
Yeah, that's what a
He
bugbear
likes
is.
it.
Yeah.
He likes insects. He's kinky.
I'm gonna put that in quotes. Fudge packer.
Yeah, yes,
Got it.
yeah, large letters. But now, of course, in there isn't any particular stigma. It's not like some of the hardcore Protestant type of environments, right? But it's still considered bizarre, right? But nevertheless, you can see that because you're privy to all the knowledge that everybody's gained, even when you weren't there, you've been brought up to speed, right? And of course, you know that Baron Fetskit and his team are really trying to push propaganda and reduce because that was the plan. Everyone agreed to, right? To reduce the prince's standing in town. It seems as if it's having some success, at least with these two. Now, of course, this is a very large place, and you're still at the bar. You could go further deeper into the tavern of the Cragmora Claw, or the Claw Mora, sorry, or you could move on to someplace else.
Go deeper.
Go deeper. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. I'll go deeper.
Okay.
Because no one knows who he's messing around with in town. They just have been hearing about it, correct?
No, well, they didn't know. They just had heard the rumor that he's a
Right.
buggerer. They didn't really have any details.
And raising taxes.
Or raising taxes. Now you're walking around listening, and most of the conversations have nothing to do with anything political. These are adventurers, because this is very much an outsider area you're in. You're not in the true local area. These are where the adventurers come and go into the ruins, right? But however, you're milling around and listening for conversation. Give me another investigation roll, please.
Just let me switch over. Oh Lord.
You can do it.
Oh wow. 6. That's what it came up as.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh.
That's not good.
Nope.
That's bad. Yeah. So it's not
Your head explodes.
nothing negative is going to happen, but nothing positive will either. But you're milling
Dang it.
around, you're listening,
Sorry,
and you're
guys.
just not hearing anything very interesting at all. Do you want to? You still have another third of this place to walk through. Would you like to continue or
Let's
go
do
on to
it.
somewhere else?
Yes,
All right.
let's continue. No, let's continue. I
Okay.
got to get a better roll than that.
Sure. Well,
If
give
you
it to me then.
If you like a
All right.
buy a round of drinks, can you get advantage?
No.
Ah,
Well, I mean, you could, but you have to make a charisma roll, and I think that's the problem we're having here.
17.
That's better.
That's
17.
much better.
All right.
Thank
Now,
you.
as you're milling through, there's a small stage here in this back corner of the tavern that usually has a bard doing the standard saga singing and the various things that are normal. But currently, it has a small troupe of working girls. I guess they would be more strippers, but they're doing their little sexy dances, and they have, of course, and a
Usually know
alm.
everything.
Well, no, but there's an alms box in front of them. This, of course, is not for alms; it's for tips. But they're doing their thing. But right as you're walking by this area, and it's the normal site in Cragmora, particularly, right? You do hear a group of people sitting and talking about the proposed new taxes and what the hell they thinking.
I can sit with them again, just like I did the other table.
Sure, give
Slide
me a
around.
charisma roll.
All right, and that one is, hold on.
Persuasion or deceit.
Yeah, I think I
Uh,
have it though. Let me see.
You have
For you.
intimidation.
Yeah, but
Okay, so
it's
still,
not, you don't want to do that.
probably not the best
No,
option
but
for this. You have a +1 to your roll for
oh gosh,
persuasion.
Oh,
on the
nice.
20 plus
Yeah.
1.
Mhm.
All right. Well, I mean, that's better than
13.
14.
That's a
14
14.
total.
A 14.
Bug.
Well,
15.
Mm.
you ask if you can have a seat and talk about the taxes, and they are like, sure. And they immediately start talking to you as they're talking to each other about, what the hell are they thinking about? They're talking about raising the taxes 5%. What's this nonsense? I hear also, well, the other guy says, I also heard at the gate they're going to start taxing for everything you bring out. No. Yeah, I heard that. And then a person says, yeah, that's what you get from buggerers running the government.
Mm. Okay, so that's the main thing we're hearing. All right.
Now, keep in mind, you're not in a local area. You are in an outsider area,
Mhm.
which you
Mhm.
are. So makes sense, right?
Yeah, and let me just ask you, though, like all these guys that they do constantly hire working women and things like that,
Yeah,
wouldn't those be like some women to maybe also question?
I
I
would
don't
think
know.
so. Yeah.
In the
Mm-hmm.
wealthier areas, especially.
I mean, if you think about it, like real, like whatever, however you want to look at it, they usually say secret things or say certain things 'cause they don't think these women will ever talk because they're getting paid for their time, and they might
They're
see
idiots,
for
but
people or see rich people.
yeah.
Well, where's
You know what
the
I'm saying?
nearest brothel? Maybe the brothel that's nearest to
Yeah,
the hotel.
Yeah.
right. That's I was thinking something like that.
Mhm.
Might be
Now,
a
keep
good.
in mind, the deeper you go into the local community, the less you're going to hear about buggering,
That's
right?
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because,
Well,
a
I'll
lot of
say
these
if the bar
people
is that
here,
big,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Well, no. You're amongst adventurers. These are outsiders, people from other places, and the places they come from are going to be much more like Iron Pass. And keep in mind that, of course, any town of any size is going to have its red light district of some sort, right? And Iron Pass is no
Mm,
different. They have Wonderland, but what happens in Wonderland stays in Wonderland, right? Outside of that,
mhm.
Iron Pass is a very, general family place, so it's conservative, right? You don't have that kind of stuff. You don't go to the various taverns. There are no working girls walking around the streets of Iron Pass.
Well,
They
then
will.
I'd stay in the bar and either just talk to some more people, or maybe I could
Well,
talk to one of the lady
let me
dancers and
finish
see if they've
my
seen
let me
anything.
finish my point. Right, let me finish my
Okay,
point.
go ahead. Sorry.
And therefore, a lot of these adventures are coming from similar towns. Now, they of course nothing. The adventurers out, youngish men and women out in town to might want to take indulge in such things, being away from their home. Of course, is one of the big businesses here in Cragmora. My point is, they are from places like you are from. However, the deeper you get into town, away from where the outsiders are, Cragmora is decadent and has been that way for a long, long time. And what I've been using the word buggering, but that is not a bad thing. These deaf speakers and therefore the influence they have on the locals, it's Diddy all day.
Hmm.
Yeah, is what I'm trying to say. So what I'm trying to say, and the same thing GOP is trying to say, go somewhere else.
Hmm. Well, that's what I was thinking. Like, go to like into like a little closer to go to like maybe like a brothel or something like that. Kind of walk in, have a beer, and maybe talk to some of the ladies that might have seen things that don't normally talk to people like
Okay.
that.
So you know this town. You've been here for a while. Like I said, you probably know it better than they do. Now, going to the west, you don't want to go down there because that's all farmland and more country people. You're kind of in the center of town right now. So you want to go to the east. And over in the east, there's a lot of warehouse areas and stuff, which, of course, they have little dives and stuff, but it's not probably where you want to be. There's two main streets, though, that go to the
Okay.
north, right, north and south, off of this main east-west drag that the whole town lays upon. Keep in mind, it's almost like a one-street town in a way. But there are two.
Hmm.
One of them is the Trade Street, and on the Trade Street is where all of the main wheeling and dealing happens in Cragmora, and there's many side streets and there's tons of restaurants. So it's like a shopping and eating area, right? Then there's another main
Hmm.
street that leads straight up to the hotel, and on that street is very similar. It's just a high-end version of it, right? And there's over in this area there are far more tavern-esque places than there are on the other. The other one's more like a family and dining and trading and shopping. This high-end street, which I forget what I called it. I know someone probably wrote it down. But this street, did I call it like Pearl Street or something?
I think so.
I
I
have
think I
to
put
go back and check. I'm
I
not
think I
sure.
put like a some kind of gem name to it. But nevertheless,
I
that
think it
street
was
would have,
Agate Avenue.
what was it?
Agate Avenue.
No, it wasn't. It certainly wasn't. But nevertheless, those are really your two options: either the kind of more everyday person of Cragmora, or the high-end, richer people of Cragmora. Which would you like?
Diamond Drive.
Well, I
Cupid
think a lot of the
Zirconian
rich people
Avenue.
talk a lot about, they love their gossip, but then the everyday folks would be the people that want change, don't want the be more opinionated because they don't want the high taxes and things like that.
Probably.
So yeah, so I would say maybe talk with the regular folk, but
Okay.
I don't know which place I would probably like go to on this, but that's
Well,
probably where
either
I'd go.
they would have a tavern. It's just a little bit more lower key than where you are, or on the high side. I mean, there's not going to be as many working girls or drug dens in this area.
Hmm.
It's going to be much more normal, like I said, family. What did I call it? GOP?
Well, I don't know. Should I stay with the ways I was gonna go? Like stick with the ways of the more like people that would see more people? I don't know. I'm not sure which way I should go on this.
No.
Well, what ex-
I think your
Yeah.
idea is fine. Just do that. I think it's a good
Okay,
idea.
well then we'll do that.
So
Okay.
you go down in this area, and you've been here before, of course, although most of your time was spent down the other area. But you've been here, and you find a little place that's called the Little Round Girl, right? And there's a big, huge, round shield that's sitting on the wall outside, and it's got the cutest little cherub face you ever could see on it. And in you could smell the food coming from inside. It smells awesome. And inside here, there
Hmm.
is a very normal tavern. Type of experience for most D&Ders. You got lots of people on several families sitting here and dining and chitting and chatting. And of course, there is alcohol here, but it's not really a place for drunkenness. And up on the stage, there's a small troupe of 4 musicians playing and singing songs. There is also an upstairs area, but there is a guard at that stairwell. And yeah, that's the situation. Like I said, this place is much more table oriented, where people are sitting down. There is a bar, whereas the other place you were at had tables, but a lot of them were standing tables, like you would find in a nightclub. This is much more of an actual tavern. So how do you want to go about it?
I'd probably want to sit closer to wherever that guard is up there, so maybe I could hear about what that person's doing up there. But I'd probably sit down and get something to eat, so that way I'm there a little bit longer and I could see what's going on by where the guard is at. See if there's any activity or see what's going on over there.
Okay, so you want to sit there and have or order from a waitress. Okay. So
Mhm.
it's typical of most places, have a seat anywhere you like. And of course, eventually a waitress does come over to you, and she brings a menu, typical stuff. You look on the menu, and it's a pretty elaborate menu actually, compared to what you're used to in Iron Pass. There are many things on here. You do notice there's an entire new page that says ye rapid dining, the shawarma. That there's a whole page to that. But anything you would imagine coming out of an English tavern is here. What would you like?
How do you get representation underground so fast?
He's just that good.
Don't mess with Garth, man.
What would they? What am I going to order from this lady? Just give me what's on the special, what they would want to bring me,
Sure. Okay.
and see what's going on, and maybe even eventually I could maybe ask her like, "What's up with this guard up here? Like, what is this?"
Okay. Give me a roll.
All right.
Persuasion. Well, just +1.
Mm-hmm. It's a coming.
Ask her if she knows how to do the bugger.
11.
Dang,
No,
I
don't do
keep
that.
rolling low.
What'd you roll?
11.
Okay.
Not very good
Well,
roller
sh-
today.
she tells you the
Hey.
special is catfish stew, which is something you've had here before. You never had before. You never had an Iron Pass, but they do seem to do fish farming down in the western farming area and catfish. So you've eaten it before, but it is a new thing that's kind of specific to here. And of course that
Right,
comes with
it's
some
fresh.
rolls and a salad, right? And to wash it
Okay.
down, she says.
I'll have a
Look
beer.
at my enemy.
They have.
Okay.
They said it's not a
Um,
big alcohol place, so I'll just have like a beer.
yeah. No,
Have a pint.
this is much more like a standard tavern, right? This girl
Mm,
is not dressed provocatively at all. She's dressed quite normally.
mm,
And she looks like she's somebody's mother, right?
mm.
Make
But
make sure.
but you do ask about the guard, and she just offhandedly just says that, oh, that's the VIP place.
Oh, so how do I get up there? How does one go about getting up there?
You have to talk to Durith at the bar.
Hmm. All right. Should I go do that? Let's talk to Durith and see if we can with the VIP place is about. I feel like I have the money. I've gone through there. I kind of might want to see what's going on up there.
Okay. Now, in this case, now what you're doing is applying your renown, right? Whereas before you're just kind of talking questions. So your
Mhm.
renown is what in Cragmora?
I don't know which one I'll be looking under for that.
Renown.
500.
I would. I mean, if everybody got 500, because she didn't have any before that, right?
Well, she did,
So
but so it's is it 400? I thought it was 400 for Cragmore.
Mm,
Five.
you said it was 500
Oh,
for
no, that's
everything.
fine.
We
That's
just
fine.
had a negative,
No, that's
but
fine.
she
That's
wouldn't
fine.
have
That's
that.
fine.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have
You
it,
guys
yeah.
had a negative, so so yours is pretty high. So you kind of go and talk to Durith at the bar, and you ask about the VIP, and give me a roll. Now you're going to get what is this sitting at GOP +3, I think, right now, right?
For
Plus
the bonus,
for the
uh,
bonus, yeah.
well, it's
15, 15,
15%.
yeah, you're
So
+3. So plus
plus 3.
three, and you're +1, so +4 total. Just give me a, just a persuasion roll.
20, 20.
15.
Gosh, 15. I
Okay,
was
no,
hoping for it to be
that's a good
higher.
roll. That's not a bad roll. It's a good
I
roll.
know, but still. Okay.
You want like 35.
Yeah, right. That's the real roll.
All right.
Yeah.
No,
Gonna
that
roll like
My
a
involves
real
swords,
strength.
but
barbarian.
to get that, she needs to be
Yeah, to
swinging
my
something.
strength. Yeah.
But anyway,
Mhm.
Durith is like, Madam Skull Ripper. That just isn't right. All right, Madam Skull Ripper. Yes, you're interested in going to the VIP area. Um, uh, yeah, well, sure. There's a private party going on. I don't know that but yeah, certainly. He kind of waves his hand over to the guard, and he points down at your head. Well, up at your head because you're an orc.
Mhm.
And the guard nods his head, so you can enter anytime you like.
I wonder who's having a party.
That
I'm not
Wetton's in
bad.
there.
Right.
Yeah.
What a
Let's go.
weird
They
coincidence.
can bring my food up there, maybe, or
Sure,
whatever. Oh
they
yeah.
will. Yeah.
We'll see who's up in there. All right.
All right, guard lets
All
Just
right.
you
Then
carry
we'll
the
go.
pitcher by the
takes the rope, of course,
right
and
on
lets
it.
you up. You go up, and in here you see no one you've ever seen before. You don't recognize anybody, but it's just another tavern upstairs. Really, it's cordoned off into a few areas. Most of them are dark, not being used. Only one area is being used, and in here is a party of about 30, 35 people. And they are eating and drinking and laughing. There's a mix of adults and children here as well. But keep in mind, it's quite normal, as we're here, as in Germany or here in Japan, that you don't have heavy drinking, but it's very common to see children in a place where beer is flowing. It's not like America, right? And
Mm.
so they just seem to be a group of people that are having a party.
Mm.
They are
All
well
right.
dressed, though. Everyone here does have money. They're not
Hmm.
aristocrat level, but these are, upper middle
I,
class
I just
probably.
go and introduce myself and say hello and mind if I join them for a little bit so I can
Bingo.
just hear what's going on in the
Sure.
area. Who are these people? Yeah, sure.
How much
All
for the
right.
children?
No.
Sorry,
How much are the
Now,
children?
give me one more roll, please. Just one more. Same roll. +4.
wrong movie.
Yeah. How much for the children? Oh no,
Oh my god.
that's a
It's
6
terrible.
total.
Can I just re-roll? Can I just start
No.
over today?
No,
No, just
no. All right.
no.
Well,
All right. Well, that
um,
sucks.
you
Sorry, guys. I'm
are
not doing very well for you.
certainly recognized by a couple people because of your level of renown.
Renown.
But in general, it's kind of awkward and uncomfortable because this is a private birthday party, and why is a celebrity delver walked into the middle of it? So it's kind of weird and awkward. But people do offer you drink and food, and of course, your food does come up itself. So I guess you just kind of have a seat and listen to the people who very quickly just kind of accept your presence and continue on what they're doing.
Well, I
And
could have played it off like, that's fine. I'll sit over here. I just wanted to you know,
Do
kind of
some
have my little private
juggling.
area.
yeah.
Do some. Yeah.
Juggle
Um,
axes. Yeah.
But whilst you're sitting and listening, however, there are various conversations going on, and you don't hear anything about the buggering. And of course, there's kids here, so
Hmm.
but
It's a
you do,
children's birthday party.
yeah, it is, yeah. But
I
little
should have went and
Johnny just
visited the
turned
whores.
12,
Oh
but
my god.
and of course, cake comes out and presents and all that kind of stuff. Yay, kids! But some of the adults, especially when they do start doing the more birthday-oriented stuff, mainly the women, are doing that kind of stuff. The men, being men, are chatting about, logistical things, and of course, they start talking about the proposed introduction of higher taxation from the prince, and nobody is pleased. No one is arguing on behalf of the Death Speakers. They all think it's ridiculous. We've had this set for decades. Why would they change it now? That's the kind of conversation that's going on.
It seems like no matter where I go, where people are on the outskirts or inside so far, and these people have money here, but then also the local people, it doesn't seem like anyone likes this prince. So if that's what we were trying to figure out of his, if people like him or not out there, like what his, I don't
Right.
know, priority is out there for the people. Like I found at least that out. We haven't found anything out about Wetton or anything like
Well,
that,
because you haven't gone
but
to the right
this is
place.
showing right.
But you're not in the Wetton area. But
Well, then I
yeah,
should have went the other way.
you probably should have, yeah. But that's okay. Live and learn. But you can still do so. Nevertheless, well, you'd have to do it another day, but that's okay. We can do that as well. It doesn't matter. No restrictions on time here. Nevertheless, yes, that's what you're getting. But keep in mind, Cragmora is a wealthy town. It's very wealthy. It's much richer than Iron Pass, much more, even though it's nowhere near as big. Well, in a way, it is. But Cragmora was set up simply as a place to enter delves, and then someone thought it would be a great idea to charge to get in, and then along came the Death Speakers, the Gordati, and they just took over. This is decades and decades ago, right? Back when it was first opened, right? So this town is well, it's not, but it's as old as Iron Pass is. But there's a lot of money in here, right? So yes, you're correct, and the people are not pleased about this proposed increase in taxes. Now you don't know where that's coming from, how it was announced. You don't have any of the details, but clearly the people know, so it's coming from somewhere. So I would suggest that you get a room and proceed the next day onto the rich street.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
All right. So you get a room here in this area. This tavern doesn't have rooms, but they're right across the street does. And this is all petty money from your point of view. But you get up in the morning, and of course, as normal, particularly in this area, Cragmora is bustling. These are hardworking people, and it's all about profit, and they're good at doing it. So this place is bustling in the morning when you get up. All kinds of carts and wagons and trade taking place, and the one thing about Cragmore you certainly notice is. Even for as much drinking and debauchery that goes on here, you don't see drunks in the street. You don't have homeless laying out here or there. It's quite clean, and there's like hardly any crime at all, oddly,
Mhm.
right? But you do head over to the high street. What did I call it again, GOP?
The high street.
High.
No, because we didn't really got an actual. Well, there was an old name, but I don't remember the exact name.
High Street is fine. You go to
Yeah.
High Street, and of course, this place is bustling as much, but the bustle is slightly less trade, more rich people walking around showing off their richness, right? So lots of ladies in
Right.
groups going to get morning bread, and men gathering at various halls and things like that to have their various conversations for the day. Um, and you're walking around, and there is a very high up the street near the hotel. Actually, there is a
Mhm.
very famous and the most famous, tavern, live house type of thing in town. And this one is called the Golden Flower. And it has a very ornate entrance area. When you come in, it's gaudy. Now, you've never been inside the hotel yourself, but they described it to you, and it's very similar to the hotel. It's gaudy, rich, Renaissance period aristocrat type looking place. I would doubt your character would be very comfortable here at all. But nevertheless,
Mhm.
even though it's morning time, we're not at even lunchtime yet. The place is pretty full, and it's mainly men in here. And of course, you've had this experience before. A lot of the richer men in town spend most of their days either doing business or sitting and chatting about stuff. Now, in this place, there are no working girls, there are no dancers, there are no bards, or at least not yet, right? It's just the people. There's no real alcohol drinking. They're eating scones and things like that. But there are a lot of conversations going on. And when you come in, a waiter comes over to you and says, "Table for one."
Sure.
Sure. Okay. Well, he takes and sets you
Yeah, so
down,
it's
and he gives you a menu, and on the menu, it's basically cakes, scones, and tea.
oh man,
Yes. Not the
not
place
my
for
kind of
Shamara.
place.
No. And there are some eyes on you
No.
because clearly some of them are going to recognize you simply because you're renowned. But others are going to recognize you because why is there a bloodthirsty orc sitting in our scone space?
Maybe I just had to use the restroom.
Maybe.
I don't know because it doesn't seem like my kind of place at all. I should have just went straight for the horrors in the beginning. So,
Yeah, well, to be fair,
Closet,
this is a
all
general
right.
rule. Just go
Yeah.
straight for the horse because, yeah, they
Yes.
know more than anybody else in town about anything, right? Always.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I spent 12 years working in strip clubs. I know.
So I would almost just like look around and be like, "No, I'm good," and like
And what's your
decide that that's
highest
not my
tip?
place.
Well, you might as well
Ha
make a
ha
roll
ha
since
ha.
you're here.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. And it's just the basic roll. I don't get the +1 on here. This is just a roll 20, I think, right?
Yeah, you're just listening. Yeah.
Mhm. Oh,
Oh, no.
dang!
He keeps getting sixes.
Can I just like I'm gonna like refresh this page?
All right.
Sucks.
This is just not the right time or place where you would need to be.
Yeah.
And you eat your scone and you have your tea, which you might actually like it. Maybe Shamar has found a new thing, but
I
nevertheless.
have a little hidden a little bit of liquor that I sneak and
Oh,
pour it
that's fair.
into the
That's the way
tea.
to do it. But you go and spend the rest of the day, or at least until after lunch, because as decadent as it is, the working girls don't really start moving till afternoon, right? So,
That's fine.
you know, anyway, you kill some time.
Well,
Maybe you go do some shopping or something like that because there is fair shopping here. But afternoon comes, and you, after having yourself a bit of lunch, proper food, you do go out into the high area again. But you go to the place that is more whorish. So
mhm.
it's on a back street, an off street, and you find one, and everything here is a little is higher end anyway. And you go in, and this place is called the Red Arrow. And inside, it's pretty good size. It's not as big as the last place you were in, but there's a few customers milling around, and there, of course, the working girls and the bartenders and all that kind of stuff. And everyone's just kind of stretching out and getting ready for the day. But there are working girls here, and they have available time because they're not really working yet. Although there's a couple of them are going to come over to you and introduce themselves.
Yeah, of course. I like them all. Come on over. Are they allowed to have a drink with me?
It's kind of how they make their money, but
Hire one and then roll an athletics check.
Oh, but no,
Can't
it's
you just give me a little lap dance and then we can talk a little? Yeah.
well, I mean, in these kind of places, like I said, I wasn't kidding. I did work in these places for like 12 years. Um, their main money they make is off of alcohol. I mean, the
All
establishment,
right. Well, then
right?
have a
The
drink with
girls
me.
make their
Yeah.
money
Yeah.
off of other things, but
Yeah.
alcohol is a big deal, right?
Yeah. Let's have a drink together.
All right.
Maybe quite a few, because get her a little drunk so she'll be more freely to speak with me.
Well, you've never met a stripper in your life. I can tell. Good luck getting a stripper drunk. Those girls are freaking iron stamina. But anyway, actually, several girls come and sit down because the other dudes in the place are old and boring, and they'll get their money later. But because, like I said, they're not really in full work mode yet, right? But so over a
I
few
can get them
minutes.
there.
Sure.
Let's take off tops,
Over
ladies.
several minutes, several of the girls do come and sit and chat, and you're just kind of chatting amongst yourselves. So this is a
Okay.
more direct conversation instead of an
Right.
observation
Okay.
role. So therefore, we're going to need ourselves some persuasion,
All right.
which you do have
All
+4 to this because you have
right.
renown and you have +1 charisma.
All right. Let's do this. Give me a better
Nice.
roll. All
A
right.
good roll.
Finally.
22.
Woo,
Oh,
woo. At the
excellent.
right place at the right time. All right.
Well, these girls are in just the right mood to answer any question you like. So what do you want to ask?
Hold on. Let me write something down. All right. I could ask a little bit. Let's see what's going on around here. Have they seen anybody big around here? How would they think about the prince? I'm trying to think of what else I should be asking. Because our main thing, right, guys, if we were trying to find this guy, could I directly ask them if he's been in here, if they've heard anything about this guy?
I'd say you should take your
Or would that
shot.
be? All right, let's try that. About that,
Well, go ahead.
what they would know about him.
Directly.
Yeah.
My
fire it
name
out.
is Candy Cinnamon.
Have you?
Such candy, so
Uh-huh.
sweet.
Slim
Let me touch it a little bit. All right, let me get myself a little bit more relaxed. All right, there we go. Now, have you heard of anyone coming through here named Wetton? Has he seen any ladies?
Oh, they all chuckle to themselves. Yeah, well,
All right, so that's a
we've
yes.
seen him around, but he's not really, as one of them touches your hand, not really into us.
Ah, I see.
That's what Candy
Has he had
Cinnamon
any
sounds like.
company maybe with him?
Mhm.
Has he had any other, we'll say, like company with him?
Oh, of course, he's always traveling with a gaggle of pretty young boys.
Does he come in here often? Like, does he have like a certain days that he would come in here?
He doesn't come in here much, but we see because the girls kind of quickly explain that Although there are some girls who work at one establishment only, they tend to be they're part of a union. Keep in mind, this is a union town, right? And they move around. And as they chat amongst themselves, Wetton is usually seen at nighttime at I was going to be lewd. I shall be lewd at the Golden Cock,
Mm.
The rubber ducky.
the rubber
It
ducky.
should no, it should be cock ring.
No, no, no,
Should
no,
be
no.
cock
No,
ring.
No,
why
I'm
are you
being
taking it so
realistic.
far?
Why?
He's at the however you spell that.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It actually has a rooster. It's a rooster. It's a rooster. Okay. Anyway,
Oh God.
Rubber.
that cock.
Golden
Um,
cock.
yes.
Okay.
So all of you get your heads out of the gutter. But
Yeah.
anyway, he
That's
tends
exactly
to,
where it is.
he tends
You
to
just
hang
let
up
us straight
there.
to it, Esther.
All right, he tends to
My
hang up
goodness.
there.
Okay.
And they've seen him many times, and of course, he's always with a gaggle of people. But one of the girls says, "Yeah, I was working there just the other day, and he came in."
Mm. I have a
Okay.
question though. Could we have anybody like one of us like go like we'll say Garrick or somebody, like go under there and be undercover and flirt with this guy to try to lure him
Well,
like
yeah,
away and
I
like
do appreciate you trying to pimp your brother out again. I do, but
You
but
suggested it.
hey, she and I are on the same wavelength.
I mean, if we could get someone to flirt with them and get him, out of his element, and then we pull him away from people, then that would be a good way to not have to even go into the hotel or anywhere that
hotel.
someone could read our minds and get him away.
Sure.
them
And
unaware.
but keep in mind he knows exactly what GOP looks like.
Which is why the makeup comes into play.
Maybe, but it's also
Or is there any spells
why
that can make
Shamara
him
is here.
like
Well,
make him?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But that would be a lot easier place to get into than the hotel to get him.
it would be.
Yeah.
Now,
Is there any spells out there that can maybe make him under almost like a hypnotized thing where he would see them look differently,
you got
or
to
they
be
can
careful about
do a
that
spell they could look
in
different?
here. But then again, it's not in the hotel, but possible. It's possible.
Mm-hmm.
But let's kind of bring things back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You sit and chat with the girls for a while, but eventually you do report in. And it's very easy. You have one of the little communicator charmy things that Honey made, and Jason can pull you back. So you go back to the HQ, and you discuss with whoever's there. Of course, Jason and Wigwam are there all the time, and you report on your findings. So as the group is gathered, you guys have this intel that's been gained. What are you thinking? What's the plan here?
We're
What
going
do
to
you
use
guys think?
a ring of gender swapping.
What? Well, I don't even know how that would benefit us.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Well,
And then
I didn't-
we'll send Shamar in as a boy.
I mean,
And
we,
I mean,
And then
Well,
you just kick his
I
ass.
think you guys are getting ahead of yourselves, but
yeah,
anyway, go ahead.
yeah. That's a
okay.
big jump. Anyway, go on.
Amy, I think you're. Yeah.
oh, so I heard that there was a big party that everybody was going to in about 5 days that everyone's going to be in attendance of.
4 days.
4 days. Oh, I see. And also that Wetton goes to these certain parties or these certain places almost every other night.
No, you didn't hear that.
We don't. Yeah, we don't know how often he goes.
Just
We
the
know that
other
he.
night, yeah.
Just that
They
he's
know
been there
who
in
he
the-
If it is going to be a
is.
huge festival, I would think he would be out at these places at some point in the night.
Well, they all are. And
Right.
but
So,
the information that she gained is like this.
Mm-hmm.
Wetton is a known quantity because he's a very, very rich deaf speaker, and he likes to throw his money around and party. So the girls certainly know who he is. What you've also gleaned from this, whether you noticed it or not, is the fact that he doesn't seem to be concerned about you because he's moving around quite freely. He's not hiding in the hotel. Now, of course, the prince, she didn't get any information on the prince, but then again, the prince doesn't move amongst the commoners.
Mm-mm. He's
Or
not
Wet.
going to want it. He's going to try to keep that on the down low as much as possible.
Sure.
Where Wet might slip stuff up.
Right. Well, Wetton
Especially
clearly is. Like you knew that
yeah.
2 days ago he was at this place partying, and the girls do know who he is. They know who he is because he's a high roller that throws money around.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So
To certain
can't re-
people.
Right, but I mean, still, it's
Yeah.
still alcohol and drugs and all those kind of things. It's I'm just saying he's a known quantity. He's not afraid. He's moving around freely as he was before.
With
Okay.
a combination of
So, all right. So if I'll interject. Trying to get him now, preferably, I would like to get him before the festival because that would even mess with the prince even more when the festival comes. And it might be our best bet to get the prince at the festival because he'll be out in the open. He won't be in the hotel. But if we can get Wetton before the festival, I think that's the best idea. And if he does frequent at least this one place, then that's a potential avenue in. But I mean, what I could do is I could have the closet surveil the hotel from the outside and wait and see the comings and goings. If it notices him,
What
then
about? Oh, sorry.
then it can inform us, and we can go to whatever location he's going to and intercept him there.
We use the master spy Uber and
Yeah.
pop in, grab him, and pop out.
Yep. Exactly. So,
Okay.
in the meantime, though, we should prepare also for the festival because he might not even come out before then. We don't know. So we should be prepared for both both things. Like the festival, either way, we should do something.
Yeah, but if Wetton really does like the boys and like drinking and like partying, he's not going to stay still for 4 days.
Maybe not.
Maybe.
But
keep in
yeah.
mind, there's another thing you guys may be overlooking.
Okay.
You guys are willy-nilly, without thought, using Jason's mansion to move around. But you're forgetting that this is not a known quantity.
Yeah.
It's not like everyone knows Jason has this magical teleporting house, right? It's not a known thing, right?
Oh,
No. And keep in mind that Jason was the spy master of Cragmora. He's pretty good at keeping a secret.
okay.
So don't just throw it out in the
Yeah.
middle of everything, too.
and
Yeah, but
I
I'm
can
just saying it's not like
Yeah.
Wetton knows you can get him at any moment he's
Right.
outside of the hotel. He doesn't know this.
Yeah.
You
No.
guys
We just don't know his
you're
plan.
overthinking it.
Well, we don't.
That's
Which
no.
Bill's here, so overthinking isn't automatic.
I'm better than you.
Sorry, Bill.
It's okay.
I love you.
Okay. But I mean,
Did-
regardless.
Diddy kisses for you, Bill. Diddy kisses.
Oh God. Okay,
Oh,
but
wow.
regardless.
That's
Yahoo,
actually good.
Shoving up
I
the
might use that. Diddy kisses for you.
should.
Okay,
I might
so-
write that one
Is that
down.
who Wetton was patterned after?
That's not initially, but sure, why not?
I figured it was Will
Okay,
Wheaton.
speaking of Jason, he probably has understanding of the underground network too. I mean, we don't necessarily have to
Extremely
use
well.
his house.
Yeah.
But
Well,
What
yeah,
makes
but
it
he
Someone
also
should question
you
him.
got to say that the whorehouses have to have the governor's interests, right?
Mhm.
The secret passage stuff.
Of course.
So,
And
we
the
could
Death
probably
Speakers
go
do
that
use
way.
the underways all the time. That's true. That is true.
So I
but
assume Wetton may not be picked up by your closet that way. We could
Well, he
just
might or
well,
might not.
You're
but-
assuming, and as you talk, the
Yeah.
closet reports. Wetton has left the hotel and is heading down the street with a group of 5 other men.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Let's get it done. We got 40 minutes left in the game. Let's do this. Okay, we go over, look at Jason, and if he's here. I don't know if he's here. Maybe he's here. Assuming he's here, and be like, we know where he is. We can get him right now. And
Now he
Why
walks
not?
down the street, and of course Jason brings up his Honey uses her crystal ball to hone in on him, and he is walking down the street. They are ultra super foppishy, and
I'll
Hats and
Yes.
His
everything?
guard? Are they guard or they're his buddies?
Well,
Or
they're all dressed like him, and there's 6 total, including Wetton. But they walk down, and of course, just outside of the hotel gate, which isn't closed,
Mhm.
but it could be, is and just taking a right turn down that Wall Street on the hotel is the Golden Cock, and in he goes. And she's following, and
How convenient. So
this
close.
this is a little bit. It is very close. It is evening, and he's stylishly arriving, and of course, as he enters, this place is packed with people, mostly men in this place. But as he enters, the whole room roars with the master is amongst us.
Yeah, I think he's a regular.
Okay, so we should what I think we should wait for is the second he goes to the bathroom or goes into a private room, because everyone forgets that bathrooms exist in fantasy worlds.
They do.
But the second he is in a more secluded place, let's go in and jump him. Let's get him.
Okay.
Open an
you
Acme
want to
donut
get
hole in the ground
him
and
in
just.
the privy?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have the ability to do that, right?
Mhm.
Now, especially, it depends. If you're trying to do it with some demon, there's a fight on your hands. But Wetton, you've met him.
Yeah.
There ain't much of a
Mhm.
fight
Mhm.
happening, right? But nevertheless, he does eventually go to use the loo. Now, of course, it's more modern times, so there are absolute toilets, and the ones in here are, very glamorous and gold plated, and they're Trump-esque. And but he's in there, and he's just using the facilities, and of course, she's watching him, and Jason can open a portal. So, what do you guys want to do?
Get him. Let's get him. Let's get this moving.
Bag over his head.
Okay, so Shamara is the big muscle-bound one here.
Mhm.
Like it seems to be our orcs are the grabbers, which is fine.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting on a toilet, and he's right there. Jason opens the window. Of course, he can't see you, but you can see him. Shamara, all you need just grab a hold of his ass and drag him through.
Right.
With his pants
You
down
even
and
need to
everything.
make a
Don't
roll.
wipe. Oh.
No, he does not get to wipe. He's lost that privilege.
Okay. He doesn't even get to wipe. So if
give me
anything,
a roll, but if for you in this situation, just don't roll a 1. But give me effectively an attack roll. You're not using
okay,
a
that's
weapon;
my
you're
plus.
using your hands. But
Yeah,
still,
athletics check.
it's an Oh, sure.
Grapple.
Let's
So,
do that.
so anyone is
So-
that? That's my thing. Garrett, how many
That's
how
a
many did you say that I
D20
have?
plus
Right, but
18.
plus my what? Oh, yeah, that's what I
18.
thought. Okay.
She
That's
just got her
right.
expertise in it.
Mm-hmm.
And also, she's got 30 strength.
Yes.
Okay, make your roll. Don't roll a 1.
I am 35.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa, that was close.
Um,
It was almost a
She
7.
one-handed grabs him by the front of his vestments, drags him, throws him through. He lands in a pile, rolling on the floor. His pants around his ankles. He's in complete and utter shock as he sits in amongst the Iron Company meeting room. Like I said, his pants around his ankles, in complete shock. What the hell is happening? As Jason closes the portal. So, Wetton.
Bag over his head.
Well, is that what you're doing?
Yes.
That's what everyone would
Blindfold
like me to do.
We
Sit
don't want
in the room. Yeah, throw something.
him to
cloth
see
of
Jason,
something over
right?
his face so he can't see
I
anybody.
think he's
with it.
already
Yeah.
seen things.
He has, and he knows who you are anyway.
If I grab him and I
Yeah.
already wrap his head, if I grabbed him and I wrapped his head and brought him there, that he knows something's going on, but he won't know exactly.
Okay,
what's
he
all
is
involved.
bound. His head is wrapped. Okay, we'll get that out of the way. So let's
Okay.
yeah.
So burlap bags. Well, you guys sit him down. Do you bother to pull his pants up, or just leave it that way?
Stripping.
No.
No, we're stripping him of everything in case he has
Okay.
a tracking device on him.
Or anything.
Yeah,
Alright, that's-
he does have. The only magic thing on him is a necklace, and is Honey here?
Yes,
Um,
I'm here.
Honey uses her magic, and of course, when it's removed, it kind of tells you what it is anyway. He has various acne and blemishes on his skin because of his lifestyle. And this necklace makes him look pure and boyish.
Okay.
Okay. What
But
an
that's
interesting.
that's
I'm just
the
taking notes. Huh.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's the only
it's
magic
cosmetic.
on him.
Is that
There's no
the
tracking device
mo-
whatsoever.
is
But
that the moonwalker?
if you think
The moonwalker.
about your
Put a robot
interactions,
in there.
if you think about your interactions with Wet before, you know that this is one of the most arrogant, self-entitled people you've ever met.
Well, hello again, Wetton. It's been a while.
He's like, what's going on? I know that voice.
Slipping into his
Mm.
mind.
Whose
Start
friend
slipping
heals?
into his mind.
Yep. Yeah. Just start the interrogation. That's easier than asking him questions.
Oh, sure. So go ahead and do what you do. Do I make a roll or do you make a roll?
You make a roll.
Okay.
Against
Against what?
IQ.
So intelligence. He's actually a pretty smart guy. Is there any
DC
other thing they can go into save?
Saving throw.
Yeah,
Let
but is
me
there anything else?
bring it up because I haven't been. My DC is
It should be 20. 20,
Can you
because you have that item.
yeah.
17.
Can you accept help for this?
Oh, my
17.
IQ's 20. Oh, yeah.
Your DC is 20. Because,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Oh, the DC is
And
20. Okay.
he simply gets an intelligence bonus. That's it.
Your whatever his intelligence save. So it'd just be in his intelligence bonus.
Nope.
Okay.
So, you're delving into his mind. What would you like to know?
First things we wanted to know, guys.
Okay, well, the first thing is, does he know what happened to the Emperor? Is a good question.
Yes.
Okay.
The prince killed him about, what was it, 5 months ago?
Oh. Is this
He
The
was
who
there.
killed him?
He saw it happen. It was
Oh my
titillating.
He saw it. Can you see? Is it just words, or can she actually see like? Oh no, she can see images because we've established that in the past, right? She saw people's past thoughts.
Yes.
Oh, this is the proof.
So did you say
But
the
it doesn't-
prince killed him?
It doesn't work that way, but I get your point. But she has authority.
Yeah.
Yes, the prince killed him.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Can we figure out how they disposed of him?
Where's
Yes,
the body
he
at?
does know that. No, there is no body.
Mm.
The body has
Okay.
been completely
You're
destroyed.
fading out on me.
The body has been completely destroyed. There is no body. However, they did it at the Fallen Gate.
My goodness.
Oh,
And
and who-
Mesrith is not at all what Fedskith thought he was. At all. This
Oh,
guy
what
is
is-
a direct and staunch ally of the prince.
ooh.
Mesrith
so he,
was in the room when the king was killed, by the way.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, cool. That's good to
This
know.
is that's the keeper at the broken gate,
The Fallen
right?
Gate, yes.
The Fallen Gate.
The person who Fedskith thought
The
was
Fallen Gate.
loyal to the council is not.
Yeah.
You've seen it very
Yeah.
clearly, and this is very disturbing to you because Mesrith
right.
is Mesrith is an unquestioned individual.
Okay. Another question that would be prudent is does he know what does he know much about the prince's bargain with Bellatrix? Particularly about what he is getting out of this deal.
Immortality.
The usual. Okay, it's
Which is weird because the prince is a vampire anyway.
yeah.
But no,
That's
I
a
guess the general idea is he gets to keep all his powers and loses all the curse of vampirism.
Okay. I mean, I guess that's worth
Sunlight.
Yeah.
Silver. No.
Okay. Is there any way we can invite Fedskith to this little meeting? Because I mean, I'm sure he'll want to take this guy back with to the. Eventually, like we can still ask
Yeah,
more
why don't you
questions.
do one thing at a time and get through it, please?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Anybody else have any other questions? Because I know
Um,
I've. Yeah.
yes, if he has the power of the vampire, does that mean he can't go out during their normal their artificial sun, and that's why he's at a lunar festival?
You've never seen him in the sun.
I've not. No.
Mm-mm. No, you have not.
Is
But then again, during daytime, there's very few undead Gordati that you do see in the sun, because that's one of the standard high-end transformations is vampirism. It's one of the big
oh,
ones.
Question:
Uh, yes.
What does he know of the prince's and Melatrix's timetable for waking the deep dragon?
He doesn't know much about that. Bellatrix, it seems, doesn't like him.
Uh, what does he know about Darrid? Does he have any knowledge about her?
The stupid hag.
Yeah.
That's how he
Right.
refers to her. Um,
Okay.
no, her job was he doesn't know the details because he's been left out of it on why. But Darred has been doing experiments. He doesn't know what they're for, but they're somehow attached to the plan. He does know that the Green Mountain is a primordial. He does know this. And
Mhm.
he also knows that Darred was uh, trying to gain favor from the various, green elf tribes. That was part of her mission as well. But mainly, she's doing experiments that are somehow related to the plan, which he knows. He knows that they're as after Thasmogel, the Asmodean hammer. He knows this kind of stuff. He just doesn't
Mhm.
have any details because you know
he didn't
Bellatrix
care?
doesn't like him.
Oh.
Does he know?
Well,
Does he know where Darren's doing her experiments?
No,
Couldn't show him.
unfortunately, he doesn't. I mean, in his mind, I'm sure that Lady's character is not enjoying it, but she's been in this kind of mind many times before. This is a very lurid and disgusting individual. Um, Now, amongst the Gordati, various sexual orientations, I guess we could say, is not abnormal, but
mhm.
this is not that.
Mm.
This is an
How did
extreme deviant you're dealing with.
wait? How did he kill the Emperor? Because the Emperor is supposed to be incredibly powerful.
Um, I hadn't really thought it through, but they did it.
Okay, fair enough. We'll say there's a
Something to do with
MacGuffin.
an artifact from the devil, Malatrix, and they were able to strip his undeadness away and then simply cut his head off. How's that?
Okay, fair enough.
Correct.
Also, since he's probably, I mean, he knows a lot about the plan already. Are there any additional important details that we are just not aware about, right? Like probe for that sort of thing.
Well, you would have to ask me.
Yeah, it's true. Um, yeah, like has he ever seen like more detailed plans of what the prince was planning on doing long term?
No, I mean he's been brought and seen some things, but in the first time that he went with the prince and met Malatrix, which is a long time ago, right? Malatrix instantly didn't like him, and therefore he hasn't been allowed to go to those things. So most of his information that he has about beyond what he saw initially is just pillow talk, right?
Does the prince ever leave the hotel, or has he just been uh, sequestered there essentially?
Extremely rare. Extremely
Okay.
rare. Matter of fact, when he put the whole plan together to try to kind of, occupy you guys, which in his mind, by the way, lady, he realizes they should have just let you be. It was a mistake to try
Mm.
to, preempt, these potentially dangerous adventures. It would better just leave them alone. They understand their mistake that they made with that.
Would
But
it be
well,
easier?
let let me
'Cause the
let me
proof is in
finish.
it.
Let me
Go ahead.
finish. Let me
Yeah.
finish. Yeah. But he did leave the confines of the hotel, and he met with you. I use the gate to do that. Jason raises his hand. That was me. And so the prince knows about his ability, right? But So Wetton was quite surprised that the prince actually took such a direct action himself, leaving the hotel and coming to meet you. And as far as he knows, that's the last time that the prince has left the hotel, because most of his interactions, including the first one where he did meet Bellatrix, are in the hotel. The prince has a mirror gate.
Mm.
Mm.
Okay, that answers my
Okay.
next question: is how does he plan to duck out if things go bad? It's the mirror gate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Now, lady, go ahead and ask.
So the only evidence is his memories, then, because he's seen it.
And like I
The
said,
prince
he's seen
killing the
some
king.
things, but other things are just pillow talk.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. That's her priority was the guilt of the prince for killing the king.
Oh
Right.
no, this
That,
confirmation is very important, and of course, after you're going to contact Feskith immediately.
yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I will also ask if there's any
And
other
we hanging on
incriminating
for a little
evidence
bit.
that
Okay, one at a time. One at a time.
okay, sorry. Lady, what were you saying?
Go.
Okay.
No.
We'll
No,
ask
go.
if the prince has if there's any other incriminating evidence against the prince that he has in his possession still.
What that you need to narrow that shit down.
Okay. Is there yeah, no, is there any sort of correspondence or anything that implicates the prince in his own handwriting that implicates him in the death of the emperor?
Well,
In Wetton mind, his thoughts would doubt that, because the prince always has someone else do his work. He's not the hands-on type, which is why he was surprised he went and talked to you.
Yeah,
But
fair enough.
so in as far as his mental opinion, no. Um, the only evidence would be that um, that artifact given by the by Malatrix herself to remove undeadness. Um, uh, this he still has in his possession, because there's no way he'd get rid of that. Now, this to you guys is less interesting, but to Lady's character, that is very, very important, because that is a deadly weapon. That is
Mhm.
an abomination to the Gordati. That item, right?
The
So
MacGuffin Diabolique.
that's right, exactly what it is. Yeah. Yep. Any other questions?
so would this be enough to allow us to reasonably pursue the prince and arrest him in the interest of the kingdom of their kingdom?
We'll
Oh,
see when the prince enters the room, which will be as soon
yeah.
as she's done here, because she's got to contact them immediately.
Let's. I mean, unless anybody has any other questions right now, let's get this moving. Yeah, let's continue.
Wait,
Yeah.
she's going to summon the prince?
No,
Can I
absolutely.
embezzle?
She's going to summon the Baron. But
Yeah.
yeah, and of course she can use her ability again. Keep in mind, I mean, Wetton, he's pretty smart. He's got a +3. But Wetton is a low level. He's just a confidant and lover of the prince, and he's a noble kid, but he's not a super high level, which is probably why he's safe from the prince's point of view, right? But he's just the little fop that is in favor. Is really what he is. He's not. He's not a threat at all,
No,
right?
but the prince has made a mistake by trusting him, like the plan, the murder, and the murder
He
weapon.
has.
So
He has.
we
He
have
has.
to.
He has. Which
But
is probably why Bellatrix doesn't like him, because
Mm,
Yeah.
she's wicked smart,
right.
yeah,
right? She's smarter
And
than
he's the
everybody
weak
here.
point to the prince.
Yeah, but and that's what the princess said, right?
Yeah.
That's what she told you, and she's right.
and there's
She knows.
Mhm.
But there's several very important points have come out of this. Mesrith, who keep in mind is a 17th level mentat, right? Good luck with that, right?
Mhm.
And he's going to be layered and legendary. So yeah.
So it's gonna be a blast.
Oh no, it's going to be one of the hardest fights you have if you decide to go that route. I would stay clear of his ass, personally.
Yeah.
At least at
Um,
this level.
yeah, and
It
especially
doesn't
seeing
need
as you
a
don't
fair
need to
enough.
interact with him. But the
Right.
betrayal of Mesrith is you guys don't get it, but Lady's character gets it. That's a big deal, right? This
Mm.
Which
artifact, which is a threat to the Gordati directly, and of course the
huge,
confirmation of the death of the king, which they already knew, but you know it is
Now
what
they
it
huge.
is.
know why. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So,
Baron.
she finishes it, and of course, immediately through Jason. No, she actually has the item that he gave her. She
Mhm.
immediately contacts the Baron, and the Baron shows up rather quickly, right? Of course. And the Baron in
Yes.
the room. She immediately starts talking to him. Tower's character is looming over the top of her, as he would. And she's having a conversation. They're not trying to hide the conversation, but she's talking to him directly. The Baron's dour face becomes more dour.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
But the death of the king is not a surprise to him because, like I said, the throne stopped glowing 5 months ago,
Right.
right, or 6 months ago.
No.
So they had assumed this was true anyway. But the fact that they have their own technologies for this, by the way, GOP. She has the mental image of the murder of the king by the prince in her head, therefore guilty.
Right.
Done. A and
Oh, I don't have no trial. Okay.
well,
We
no,
already
see,
see
no,
it.
no, 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 no.
Yeah.
The mental evidence of an inquisitor, which is what you are, is binding and final in court. Which
Hmm.
is why you have your job. That is your job. You are an inquisitor,
Okay.
right? A detective, right?
Yep.
Well, anyway, so that is certain things are going into motion immediately as far as that is when Baron leaves here. The other piece of information, the artifact, I'll get to in a second, and of course Mesrith. Um, the Baron seems very concerned about that because, yeah, that's not good. And
No.
he explains to her because he's talking to her, he's not talking to you, right? Um,
Right.
but he does remind her that Mesrith has his own academy in the Fallen Gate. She says, and the lady says, I know, my lord. And he says, we'll have to ponder that. But he does turn to you guys, and I need to return and speak to the council. And we have to prepare how we're going to deal with the prince. It might be a moment or two. However, I would offer you an opportunity.
I love opportunities.
The prince himself more than likely will be dealt with by the Gordati Council itself. And of course, keep in mind the Baron has freely been using the word Gordati around you because he knows you know.
Yeah.
And so your involvement might not be necessary as far as the capturing of the prince. Of course, other
Mm.
things beyond that when we know more, because it's clear from just talking to Lady that all the details involving Malatrix are not yet known. So once we have the prince, we might well know this. We should know this. However, this artifact is a major liability for us. Therefore, you seem to be people motivated by coin.
Helping.
Among other things, but yes.
He pulls out a scroll from his robes and he throws it in the air and it unscrolls itself. And he takes a quill out of a pocket, throws it in the air, and it starts writing a contract. And he presents the contract to the Iron Company. On that contract, it says to the Iron Company or anyone who retrieves this artifact, they shall be paid $50 million.
Whoa.
Okay.
I
Me like.
It would do your people well to have it secured, and I consider your peoples to be friends. And the man who holds it can't be
And of
trusted.
course, the paladin
It's on
has
this
to say, "We'll
contract.
do it free." I knew it.
Oh no!
What?
Wait.
What? What?
Wait. Yes, of course we'll. This is a very dangerous artifact.
Yes,
It
it
is.
is.
We do of course have costs. And all that. So yeah, but yes, I think I think this is a more than reasonable deal.
More than
Uh,
reasonable.
Beach
More than
being
reasonable.
home.
The Baron, with that, he leaves because he has very pressing matters. So here's our situation with our campaign. Um, we have a moon festival in 4 days that the prince will make an appearance at. He does every year, right?
Yes.
We know this.
Hmm.
Wetton is in your possession, and of course, his missingness is probably already known, right?
mhm.
That's it. That
Uh-huh.
can't be helped. The council is going to be acting toward the Gordati themselves capturing and removing the prince. You
Mhm.
don't know the timetable on that, of course, although the Baron will probably let you know once he knows. But we are dealing with government here, are we not?
Right. Mhm.
Um, there's an
Uh-huh.
artifact that they would very, very, very much to not be in the possession of anything in reality,
Mhm.
because that is dangerous to them. Their society is built upon undeath, right? Something
It's the
that can remove
cornerstone of
that.
their
Yeah. Uh,
hospital.
and let's see, what else do we have? Yeah, I think that's it. So you guys have to make a decision on how you want to act. You could try to go after the prince and get him yourself and probably get a reward for it. You could do that. You could let the
And get
process
very dead.
maybe. You could let the process proceed. You could take opportunity of the prince being out of the penthouses to enter them
That's
somehow and try to find that artifact. Although you
Mm.
don't know the layout very well, you do have someone who does know it. However, the Baron would take him with him, though. The Baron would take him with him.
We can
Would
get
oh Wetton,
we
would
can
yeah,
get the
We could work that out.
from Witten. We can get the layout of the rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys and the Baron understands that, so you guys take some time and you kind of get a layout of how they were the last time he was there, which was just a few days ago, really.
yeah,
Because Wetton is not like he lives in the penthouses; he visits. And the
right.
prince is, he does enjoy the company of Wetton, but the prince is quite busy. He is trying to rule the world, after all, right?
Mhm.
yeah.
So
Does
and keep in
does the
mind,
layout?
Wetton probably doesn't really know the full extent of the deal, right? Anyway, go
No.
ahead, Amy.
Does do the plans that we have, do they have any diagrams of where the security centers would be, where any of the checks are, or any
You
of the
do,
systems that control them?
you do. And one of the interesting things that Honey immediately hones in on is
Mhm.
because you can see what he saw. He doesn't know what shit is. I mean, he literally is a useless fop. I mean, he really is.
Yeah.
Um, but you recognize some things, right? You
Yeah.
do see a vault. You know
Mhm.
there's a vault. He's been in the vault. You've seen inside of there. There's lots of magical items. There's wealth. All the kind of things you would expect to be in a prince's vault is in there. And you have many rooms and bedchambers and kitchens. It's basically a palace unto itself. It's 3 floors. Okay, three
And
floors.
yeah.
That's it.
And
Hmm.
there are 2 floors below that that is effectively the hotel's garrison. And then you
And I'm
have the
going to.
hotel proper. Well, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to assume that down in that area is probably where the security system is located.
Well,
Where they.
yes and no. There is a security station in the barracksing area, of course. This is to
Mhm.
protect the Gordati. This is their fortification, their bastion, right?
Mhm.
But actually, up in a room just off of the prince's bed station is an observing station itself, right? And there are the crystal recording stacks as well. So the prince has it himself as well.
Oh, so if he's not there,
There. Okay.
Now, now, other
Mhm.
than all the normal stuff you would find in a penthouse palace type of thing, the
Mhm.
one thing does catch Honey's eye.
Uh-huh.
Because she has been studying and she actually has a skill rank in
Mhm.
Ilrathi technology.
That is true.
Or Ilrath, so Ilrathi,
Mhm.
goodness gracious, Ilrathi,
Illuminati. Yeah.
I knew what you
Ilrath
meant.
technologies. The Ilrathi are what was that? Oh, I can't remember the name. It was a fun movie actually. It had that Lillard kid in it. Anyway, they're in this room, and you know this building is ancient. But in this
Oh.
one room that seems to be mostly storage, it's as if they maybe don't even know what they have. Uh, there is an avatar control station, inactive, of
Oh.
course.
Oh. Oh my gosh. There might be another way to get there then.
No,
You don't
no,
think so?
it's inactive.
Okay. But still.
I have a crazy idea on
And
how we
don't we
can
have
get
some
it.
batteries for that thing?
No.
You do.
Yes, we do.
She can operate these things. She knows she has everything she needs. Now,
Mhm.
as far as how the security works, how the warding works, has no freaking clue. Right? He
Now, is
doesn't
that
know, and he hasn't spent any time in the security area hardly. So that you don't gain any information this way, unfortunately, from him. But you do gain that layout. You know where the vault is. You know where the prince's private security observation room is, and of course that avatar chamber just sitting in a storage room with a bunch of things covered in sheets. I mean, the way
right?
in his brain, he's been in there because he was helping move an old sofa in. But they don't seem to know what they got.
No. Oh my goodness. Ooh. Oh, that's cool. Is there anybody that works at the hotel the Baron might know that someone might know who would know something about the security system
Sure,
in the hotel?
security people,
Mm-hmm.
Security people. Does the Baron know any of those
But they're
people?
loyal to the prince.
they're loyal to
Any?
the prince. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
The
see.
hotel's a
Okay.
problem. Getting the prince, the Guardati have resources, so they'll get it done. It just depends on their timeline, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
government, right? They're slow to act. Although they do have a timeline they have to get ahead of. However, that hotel is going to be a problem for anybody
Right.
because it is
And he
under his
wouldn't
control and it's his
and he
loyalties
wouldn't
running it.
care and he wouldn't take it out of the hotel with him, would he?
We don't
Take
know.
what? No way. No way. Never. Yeah. The prince is
The
one
undead
thing
the
you get.
undead
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, but one thing you get from a Wetton's memories and thoughts is he's an idiot, right? The prince is not.
Yeah,
Mm.
And you can see just
right.
from the interactions he has with the prince finds Wetton extremely attractive. And to be fair, he is. Very attractive man. He is.
When
Uh,
he's wearing his little thingy bob.
yeah, yeah, but I mean, he's effeminate, Wetton, where the prince is more of
Oh,
more of a masculine character. But just
gotcha.
from his interaction and his awe of the prince, because keep in mind, Wetton is in love, 100%,
Hmm.
right? The prince seems to be as well, though. But the prince is very sharp and very, very clever. You can see
Mm.
this from his interactions. And what was the question asked again?
Um, Trying to find out anything we can about how these security systems work.
Oh, right. But yeah, yeah, okay, okay. Um, Now, in his memories,
Mhm.
there are plenty of Gordati who aren't necessarily in the pocket of the prince. Sure.
Mhm.
There are Gordati who, this is almost like an interesting little tourist location for the Gordati because they don't interact with the outside world. They have their own world. So
Oh, that's
seeing how
right.
the little monkeys move is kind of interesting to them, right?
Yeah,
And you
people
get
find it.
many travelers coming for that exact thing. Now, lady, you do come across some imagery, because you've been made abreast of everything before you even met these people, from the Baron, of course, and
Right.
his organization. In Wetton's mind, there are several memories involving a certain person's mother and sister.
Ooh.
Me stepmother.
Oh.
Yes, and you know the situation, so they're radically incriminating.
Mhm.
And you know exactly what's going on with the mom. But do you want to share it or not?
She's a hag, isn't she?
I'm not talking to you.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Let me see. He really doesn't love her. He loves his mom.
Sure.
Mm,
Now,
yeah, I'm gonna
okay.
let him know.
All right. So, um, keep in mind you didn't grow up with him either. It's not like he's your best buddy, but it is, and honestly,
Yeah.
he should know. The party should know. Um,
Yeah.
the Baroness, you don't know this directly, but there are several imagery of parties going on and him attending, of course, because that's all Wetton does, literally,
Yep.
is party,
Party,
right?
party.
But that the Baroness is often in the presence of Belinda Krause, and we know exactly who that is,
Mm.
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
What she is. This is Malatrix in human form, right? We've already established this.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah, this is Malatrix, right? And in his memory, because you know you have the connection now that she's wearing the skin of Belinda, right?
Mhm.
In the human realm. And you, in his memories, Belinda he knows who she is as well, but she's often out all these get-togethers, and she just seems like another decadent aristocrat. And of course, well, she is. She's literally a Nessian devil. So I'm sure she loves this place. But you see Belinda, of course, and of course the Baroness is often in her presence, but not always. But the Baroness, as far as his memories show, she's just a human. She's not a
Mm.
hag,
Mm.
but she is absolutely infatuated with Belinda. And she absolutely loves the lifestyle. But then again, she actually, Wetton has seen her at the hotel before all of this started. So even though there was a very a large shift in the Baroness's thinking, now keep in mind, Carmela has always been a bitch. But there was a shift in the Baroness's thinking when she met Belinda. She was still in her excursions coming to Cragmora Hotel and indulging. That's an
Mm.
important point before she even met Belinda. And this woman and her daughter is worse. They are 100% into that lifestyle, and they have zero respect for the Baron or the Altarian Empire at all. Matter of fact, if the conversations in his memory ever come up,
Where in the hell is she from then?
she is Altarian.
The-
She's an Altarian
Yeah.
noble.
She's altered.
But she any a conversation come up, she bad talks them, and because some of the Gordati are quite interested to tell them about the Altari, she has nothing good to say.
Mm.
So in his understanding, this she's not a hag, she's a woman, and her daughter, but they are traitors to the nth degree.
Mm.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah. And he doesn't have the perspective understanding the Baroness and Bellatrix's relationship. He doesn't have that
Yeah.
point of view, right? But he knows her, and he probably doesn't like her very much. Neither one of them, because they're just mean and haughty. And he's not really haughty type of guy. He's just a partier, right?
Right.
But he
Yeah.
does know that Belinda, who of course he's absolutely terrified of, Bellatrix, you know, healthy fear is a good thing. Um,
Hmm.
that, but Belinda certainly has taken as far as he is concerned, has taken quite the fancy to the Baroness and her daughter, and they are of course involved in all manner of lewd things. Anyway,
Mm.
a little bit of closure on that thing. She's not a hag. Belinda is not a hag either, right?
Right.
She is
The-
a literal Nessian devil. But yeah, so mom's just a whore.
Just a
Sorry,
Oh, more
terrible.
than that.
sorry, Tater.
It's a distant.
So how do you
Mm.
take?
Well, she's my stepmother anyways,
That's
so
fair. I don't care about my stepmother, but Tater, your
She's a present.
your
She's
mom,
a
your actual
person.
mom is also
that's true.
a
That's
whore.
true. So it doesn't help. I'm trapped either way.
You are. You're just surrounded by it. Yeah, yeah.
I
Although
have a
your mother has
question.
taken a step up in the world, and she's done pretty good job of, even though she's a concubine, and she'll
Mhm.
always be so. She has done a pretty good job of being a lady. She has taken those steps pretty well, and you do know, because she's your mom. Your auntie has been the one that helped her the most out with that of how
Mm.
to act like a lady, which is interesting because your auntie is, your auntie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, there's a little bit of closure. So it's good. Today we had closure on several things. Closure of
Yeah.
Wetton and what he knew, and of course closure as far as what's the Baroness up to, and it's just, you know, decadence and
Nasty.
stupidity. And of
Mm.
course, he doesn't have the point of view to know her direct involvement with any of the nonsense going on Iron Pass. Unfortunately, he doesn't have that. So to know how culpable she was in the attack of the hags on Iron Pass, or any of the other things that might have gone on with the dwarves of the Iron Mines, you don't know that yet.
We need to get our hands on her, essentially.
You probably do, yeah.
Yeah.
Who?
And
Okay.
probably not let dad in the same room with her. I would
Oh
advise.
yeah,
Mhm.
or my brother.
Where I say your brother would be worse.
Yeah.
Anyway, so excellent. Very good information. Danny had some run today. Nice.
There you go,
I
Daddy!
have to learn.
Yay!
Yay! I have to learn, so I had to try it.
No, it's
Right?
good. It's great. No, that's classic D&D
And fun.
tavern crawl right there. It's very nice. But
Right.
but anyway, any questions?
Yeah.
I'm
Hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're going through this reveal of traitors and whatnot. Badger's
Right.
conscience is kind of hidden. He's got something that he has to reveal to the Iron Company because
You sure?
it's going to come out anyways. We have a psychic on the team now. So with in private, I would actually like to know about. I'll reveal my relationship with the elves.
Okay.
In front of
And
me, I'm just in front of me.
why? It's not
Okay.
like
No. No, I know. I'm just curious what you're doing.
I mean, I think about, my betrayal in light of your mother's is really not going to look that big of a deal at this
It's true.
point. So, and it's not a big betrayal because, I got a land and title and whatnot.
I
I
wouldn't
think
say
that makes
it's
it a bigger. I think it makes a bigger betrayal.
well, I don't know. Is it
Why?
a betrayal at all? But
No, it's not really.
Yeah.
No,
No.
it's not a betrayal at all. And the thing is, the elves wanted to keep tabs on the situation. And they did it under the pretense of self-preservation and the fact that the Alterians are blocking them from having access to the information.
this
That
particular information, yeah. Now, do
which
you
is
let them know about Safe House though?
well, we'll go on. Well, which is threatening to them, right?
Right.
So with they do have and have had activity in the Iron Hills, but
Iron
furthermore,
Pass.
there was a relationship, a dynamic that I observed between the king and the queen that was suspicious. And with that suspicion, I'm wondering if the lady could be identified through any of the parties or contacts through our through Wetton, if he could finger her at all. And
Mm.
so through your
mental abilities to read minds, I would give you a description of her.
Well, she
She
can
might be-
And
see
see-
it. Yeah.
Right, however that works, so that she could see the image and see if that person was
Ever showed up at the parties?
ever showed up in Wetton's mind without having to reveal our hand to at all. Maybe it doesn't matter at this point, he's a prisoner, but at the same point, there's a little bit of privacy trying to maintain without tipping our hands about if we know the elves are in on it or not. So does that make you understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
Did you see the elf getting jiggy with Tater's mom?
She takes the
demons?
image from your head and she looks inside Wetton's head. He's never seen this Queen of Wisteria. He has
Okay.
no knowledge of her whatsoever. He's never seen her in court. He has nothing. Nada.
Okay. But that's still just
They're still
Still-
acting weird. Okay.
yeah.
Well,
There's
there
still
might be
I'm
other
just-
intrigues going on that are not related to this situation,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am
But I'm-
complex, Bill.
Hmm.
Well, that's true, and I'm a survivor, so
That's fine.
that's also.
But I mean, that's good for you, and now you know. But no, the various things that I've dropped along the way are side campaigns, alternate opportunities for gameplay.
Nice. So
Yeah.
many things to explore.
So, just so you know, I'm an elf lord. I'm better than you.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. And there you go.
But remember where you started at.
In the house. So
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well,
And-
I'm sure we're gonna have to have a conversation about that. But
And Dandelion
Right.
leans down and gives him a big old kiss on his head. She has to lean down quite a bit, though.
I don't know how much longer we want to go, but yeah.
I'm just I'm wrapping up. I'm asking for questions. So Bill had a question.
yeah.
It's a good question. But yeah, Bill.
What are we
That's
gonna do
alternate
with
campaign option?
Yeah.
Okay.
What are we gonna do with Witten for who not to find him through his looking glass?
You're not
Doesn't
gonna
matter
do
if they
anything.
find him. Yeah.
You're
That's
not
not
gonna
our
do
problem now.
The Baron is taking
Oh.
him with him. Matter of fact, Tower goes with
okay.
grabs a hold of him and puts him on his shoulder and goes with the Baron.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Oh,
you're
yeah.
not,
Alright.
you have zero responsibility for Wetton. That's out of your hands. Any other
Move
questions?
areas.
It's not a question so much, but about the I just thought it'd be hilarious. So about the poker game I had, and lady. Well, you said like full of bosom, but I
Lady
I wrote
Bosom,
it,
whatever.
I wrote it as Lady Alada Bosom, and her actual name is Lady Aleda Busam.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. Or
My character
Yeah.
just can't stop thinking about her. He's I'm just saying, if you want to make her a player card, make her a player card. I'm just throwing that out there.
make her a player card.
Not a player card. Not a player card. Character card.
A lot of bosom.
Aleta Busam.
Aleta Busam. All right. Fine.
Yes.
I could put it
I'll
in
send
proper
you
French
the
if
way I
you'd
spelled
like.
it. Yeah, you should. You should.
Alright,
But I'll just
fine.
I'll send it to you the way I wrote it.
All right,
No,
fine.
never
Yeah,
mind.
I'll put it in
Yeah.
proper French for you.
You
but,
should.
Yeah. Fine. If you have to.
I do.
Any other questions?
No, I just
Those
learned
are-
that always go toward the horse.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
a
that's
great
always-
rule.
So I learned something. So right, like no questions, but I guess that was something I learned today.
It is always true. They're the ones who know the skinny. It's true.
Everything.
I feel like this. I feel like I should have always known, and I just should have known better today. How about
Yeah,
that?
they're fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Mm.
Yeah. But yeah, no, they always know what's going on. That is true. Because they are trifling. Any other questions?
You said trifling.
If there's any more information to be had about navigating the security systems and how they work, if there are any security professionals that might be known within the
I
kingdom, that would be
don't-
great. But I don't think that's something that needs to be resolved
That's
tonight.
something
I don't
you're gonna
think
have to
Witten-
research, and Wetton has no
Yeah.
clue. Yeah.
No
Mhm.
clue.
Yeah, he's a vapid, silly playboy. It's what he is, right? But
Oh.
it is interesting though in their relationship. It's he certainly whenever the prince calls, he runs because in his mind she could see he holds the prince in awe. right?
Right.
But he also go around and play with other people. He
Yeah.
has no
The little charming thing he had.
Don't say I can't play with other
What does it?
boys.
I'm sorry. The little
No,
charming thing he had for his charisma. What does it do to me when I put it on? We
nothing.
kept everything.
You get eyelash extensions.
Okay, fine.
No, it's just he's. I don't know if you guys have ever seen people who spend way too much partying. Have you ever looked at their skin quality or their health?
Oh yeah, and their teeth are,
Yeah, yeah.
bad.
And he's spent probably a decade or two more than he should have.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, but anyway, anything important?
No, thank you.
important? No.
He's
Okay.
probably going to be really interested in taking that
Nope.
necklace apart and figuring out how it works. But
Maybe.
I think
Yeah, no, that's certainly an interesting little glamour version.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, cool. Well, thank you all very much for coming in. Do appreciate you. Of course, come back next week and we'll see what goes on with that because there's certainly we have a mission now, so that's good. How they're going to pull it off, I have no clue, but that could be fun in and of itself. We've moved the plot along, which is nice. Do keep in mind in 2 days we have Drawn Along, the Ultimate Edition, of course, and we are doing 2000 AD. So come on back for that. That should be a lot of fun. Otherwise, later, everybody.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Good night.